Chapter 54:38. Yenryu also frowned. She carefully sensed and then shook her head. It was not a complete recovery. However, it far surpassed the extreme Tao power that we are using now. She also began to worry for Lin Xian. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty laughed. "Kid, what do you have to contend against our dragon race? Our 10,000 Dragon Dynasty is an emperor race. The methods and treasures left behind by the great emperor are not something you can imagine." Feeling the danger, Lin Xian also frowned. In the next moment, he collided with the 10,000 dragon diagram. He was forced back and even spat out a mouthful of blood. "Not dead yet?" everyone exclaimed. One had to know that the current extreme Tao weapons were too terrifying. However, Lin Xian was only injured. It was too unbelievable. Long Mu's eyes also erupted with an extremely terrifying light. He stretched the black gourd to its limit. From inside, an ocean-like aura of the Tao of dragons emerged. He was going to attack again, recover his peak strength. He had consumed a lot of energy, and it was very likely that he would speed up its death, so he was prepared to end the battle quickly. Lin Xian was also angry. He once again activated the sword world in his body. A competition of strength? Then let's go all out. He now had some power in the sword world, but it was mainly to maintain the growth of the spirit herbs inside and to restore the sword world. Therefore, Lin Xian was usually unwilling to use it, but when it came to fighting with his life on the line, he couldn't care less. Wasn't it just recovering the power of the extreme Tao? He had also fully recovered the power of the great dragon sword spirit. However, at this time, the situation changed. A black ring flew out from the sword world and directly rushed out of the world. It arrived in front of Lin Xian. When Lin Xian saw the ring, he was stunned. This was because he had obtained this black ring during this period of time. When he entered the oblique moon cave in the extreme Tao world, other than a stone monkey, there was also a sleeping man. That man was sleeping on top of the dragon mountain formed by 10,000 dragons. He was extremely mysterious. There were countless dragons crawling beside him. Back then, Lin Xian thought that man was the Dragon Emperor. However, when he returned to 90,000 years ago, he realized that the Dragon Emperor was not that person. That person's identity? Lin Xian was suspicious again. She guessed that it must be related to the Dragon Clan. It was even possible that he was an expert from the Dragon Clan, who was even more ancient than the Dragon Emperor. Now that one of his rings had flown out, what would happen next? The black ring appeared and flew to Lin Xian's left thumb before fusing together. In the next moment, Lin Xian felt an extremely terrifying radiance erupt from his left hand. The black ring suddenly fused with Lin Xian's left hand. At this moment, Lin Xian had transformed into a dragon, and his left hand was a dragon claw. This was a dragon claw that was emitting a black glow, as if it was made of black gold. An extremely terrifying power erupted. Lin Xian was shocked by this power. He could feel that there was unlimited power in his left hand. Kill. He did not dare to hesitate. In an instant, the dragon claw on his left hand swung out. He immediately turned into an aurora and charged at Lord Longmu. Lord Longmu's pupils constricted. Block it. He used the 10,000 dragons diagram to block it. In the next moment, the two collided. Endless aurora formed between heaven and earth, and the entire nether sky continent shook violently. At this moment, not only the nether sky continent, but the entire burial earth star sensed it. They looked into the distance. Shocking. Extreme Tao confrontation. Who was it? Was there another war between the Emperor clans? It was really too unbelievable. The other Emperor clans, Yi clan, Gu clan, Phoenix clan, and Qilin clan, all looked up at the sky. This was the aura of an extreme weapon, the 10,000 dragons diagram. The other was also the aura of the Dragon Clan. Their brows furrowed tightly. I wonder who's the one fighting. Retreat. The people near the battle retreated even more frantically. Morong Qingcheng, Yan Ruyu, and the others withdrew their extreme weapons and led the people of the Divine Union into the distance. Not only them, but the Zifu clan, Dragon Clan, Golden Crow, and the others all fled. The number 1 emissary of Mount Eternal also retreated. The place where Lin Xian was turned into a land of nothingness. At this moment, a scream was heard as blood dripped from the sky. Someone was injured. They looked up nervously. Even the 10,000 Dragons dynasty was nervous. Who was it? Was it Lord Longmu or Lin Xian? 10,000 Dragon dynasties Long Wu gritted her teeth and said, "Who was Lord Longmu?" He had already taken out the treasure from the Dragon Emperor's tomb. How could he be injured? Yes, that's right. The other Dragon Clan powerhouses also nodded. Lord Longmu was definitely an invincible existence this time. On the other side, the people of the Divine Union were nervous. Could it be that Brother Xian was injured? Damn it, it was possible. How could the Dragon Emperor's things be simple? That power was too strong. The Crimson Dragon and the others gritted their teeth. Bai Susu was also nervous. If Lin Xian was injured, they had to quickly take him away. Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ryu nodded. They were ready to make a move at any time. However, when they saw the scene in front of them, they were stunned. It wasn't just them. The 10,000 Dragons dynasty was dumbfounded. The people of the Zifu clan were shocked. The others were even more dumbfounded because the injured one wasn't Lin Xian. It was Lord Longmu. At this moment, Lin Xian transformed into a dragon and used the power of his divine body and dragon soul to block the 10,000 Dragons portrait. His dragon claws pierced through Lord Longmu's body. Fresh blood dripped from Lord Longmu's wound, piercing through heaven and earth. A huge crack appeared on the entire Yutian continent. This was blood that surpassed that of a saint. It was too strong. Nothing could stop it. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. The Purple Mansion Master exclaimed, "This was impossible. How could Lin Wuyi be so strong? Had he fully recovered his great dragon sword soul?" The people of the Dragon Clan were even more crazy. The Dragon Clan's divine ancestor shook his head frantically. They were about to kneel down. Impossible! Lord Longmu definitely wouldn't be injured. What they saw was an illusion. Longmu's face was also pale. Lord Longmu's strength was terrifying. Furthermore, he was wearing the dragon armor. That was something from the Dragon Emperor's tomb. It could definitely increase Lord Longmu's defense infinitely. However, the armor was broken and Lord Longmu was injured. How did Lin Wuyi do it? The people of the Divine Union exclaimed. He had succeeded. The Crimson Dragon couldn't believe it. Morong Qingcheng and the others also widened their beautiful eyes. Brother Xian's strength was beyond their imagination. This trump card was too strong. Could it be that this was a fortune obtained in the extreme Dao realm? Longmu was also stunned. The injuries on her body made her go crazy. He was injured? What a joke. However, the truth was right in front of him. He lowered his head and looked at the dragon claw. At this moment, Lin Xian's dragon claw had turned black. It was as if it was made of black dragon metal that might cause his body to tremble. Chapter 5439. Even Lin Xian couldn't believe that he could injure the other parties so easily. He looked at the shocked face, and his lips curled into a smile. "How is it? Aren't you surprised? Do you really think you can kill me just because you have something from the Dragon Emperor's tomb? Too naive." As he spoke, he exerted force with his dragon claw and sent Lord Longmu flying. Lord Longmu screamed. He was seriously injured. "Go." The 10,000 Dragon Court's divine ancestor's expression changed drastically when he saw this scene. He hurriedly took Lord Longmu away. They took the 10,000 Dragons portrait and turned into streaks of light and disappeared. "Damn it, let's go too." The people from the Purple Mansion also hurriedly fled. This time, their losses were really too heavy. The people from the Golden Crow clan and the Twins of Destiny had all died. Of the 9 envoys from Mount Eternal, only the first light-shaking realm was left. He was seriously injured and had to flee. Nearly half of the people from the Purple Mansion and the 10,000 Dragon Court had died. More importantly, many of those who had died were top-notch experts. Even Lord Long Mu had been injured. It could be said that it was a complete defeat. Did we win? The people from the Divine Union were also stunned. That's great. Lin Xian looked at his black dragon claw and was also surprised. The black metal on his palm disappeared and turned into a black ring that floated in the air again. The power on the ring had completely disappeared. He didn't know when he could use it again. Lin Xian put the black ring away. This was really a powerful trump card. Brother Xian, are you okay? Morong Qingcheng and the others flew over. Lin Xian's face was pale. He wasn't seriously injured, but he had overexerted himself this time. Are you guys okay? Morong Qingcheng and the others shook their heads. Then Yan Ryu frowned and looked into the distance. What was that terrifying aura? While they were fighting, there was a terrifying aura erupting somewhere in the Nether Sky continent. There was even a huge light flickering. Lin Xian's expression changed when he felt this aura. He said, "It's a few extreme weapons from the extreme Dao world. What are they attacking? Take a look." They rose into the air and flew towards that place. In front of him, the 8 trigrams flickered, and the destruction spear exploded with power. The treasured bottle of life also released its aura, and together, they suppressed the Valley of No Return. However, within the Valley of No Return, an extremely terrifying roar could be heard, as if something was trying to rush out. Damn it! Where exactly did that broken half of the stone tablet go? The 8 trigrams roared. He had searched the entire burial Earth star, but he could not find anything. Could it be that someone had tossed it into outer space? That would be troublesome. The universe was too big. There were thousands of worlds in the universe. Without any clues, who knew where they would fall? Could it be that something from the Valley of No Return was really going to come out this time? Mount Eternal and the Valley of No Return had already come out. If they were to come out, the situation would be more dangerous than they had imagined. Just as they were panicking, Lin Xian and the others rushed over from behind. "Seniors, what's going on?" Lin Xian and the others asked after they arrived. The black tortoise 8 trigrams was overjoyed. "Great, you guys are here. Quick, how many more extreme weapons do you have? Take it out." Together, they suppressed the valley in front of them. They absolutely could not let the thing inside out. What was in this valley? Lin Xian and the others were also surprised. Was there such a terrifying place in the Nether Sky continent? Looking at the valley in front of them, Lin Xian felt as if he had come to Mount Eternal. He knew that this should be a forbidden land of death. "Let's do it," he said to Qingcheng and Ryu. They nodded. The desolate tower, green lotus, and heaven-devouring jar bloomed. "Let's do it together," he said to the people of the Divine Union. There were 3 more extreme weapons. This time, their power was completely unleashed. The thing in the Valley of No Return was blasted back. The Valley of No Return was gradually sealed. The 8 trigrams black tortoise said, "Give me the extreme aura. I will condense and form a seal." The 8 trigrams black tortoise kept spinning, absorbing the power of the other extreme weapons. Once again, it formed a seal, temporarily replacing the half of the stone tablet that had disappeared. The Valley of No Return gradually calmed down. The 8 trigrams black tortoise heaved a sigh of relief. Great, at least that thing didn't come out. This time, the 3 extreme grade weapons had consumed too much power. He turned his head to look at Lin Xian, Morong Qingchen, and the others and said, "Thank you for taking action this time. Otherwise, the entire burial Earth star would have been in big trouble. What exactly was this? What was in the valley? Why was it so terrifying? The Crimson Dragon frowned and asked. Lin Xian and the others were also curious. The Valley of No Return was like Mount Eternal. There was a mortal supremacy in it. Another mortal supremacy. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard this. Could it be that every forbidden land of death had a mortal supremacy? Was it the power of a mortal supremacy that turned that place into a forbidden land? No one else could enter. Yan Ruyu and the others were also puzzled. What exactly was a mortal supremacy? Was it very powerful? How was it compared to a boundary emperor? How was it compared to a great emperor? The Aquarius of life shook its head. A mortal supremacy was indeed very terrifying. Moreover, no one knew what they would do after they came out. It was very likely that people would be plunged into misery and suffering. Therefore, they couldn't let them come out for the time being, at least not now. Bai Susu and the others were worried. What about Mount Eternal? Mount Eternal had already come out. The Black Tortoise Ape trigrams said that the mortal supremacy of Mount Eternal wouldn't come out for a while. Otherwise, he wouldn't have created the 10 great emissaries. Therefore, there was still time. All right, little guy, you don't have to worry about these things first. We will think of a way to deal with it. Then he looked at Lin Xian. You don't have any bottlenecks anymore. Then you should search for power as soon as possible and strive to become a quasi-emperor as soon as possible. We have to go back. The extreme path world will also be sealed. However, if you want to find us, you can come to the Nether Sky continent. Use this to pass on my message. With that, the Black Tortoise 8 trigrams gave Lin Xian an 8 trigrams rune to pass on the message. Lin Xian took it and nodded. She said, I understand. Then he returned with Morong Qingcheng and the others. On the other side, the 3 extreme weapons also heaved a sigh of relief. Let's go. They were ready to return to the extreme path world. The extreme path world was usually in a sealed state. It would only be opened for a period of time during the dragon transformation battle. Next, they would have to undergo a long period of sealing. Of course, they weren't idle inside. They were all carefully preparing. When they returned to the extreme path world, they were stunned because they found that a figure was directly rushing into the extreme path world. Who was it? Who was going to enter the extreme path world at this time? Stop. The destructive spear snorted coldly, and a destructive aura rushed over. No matter who it was, he would be killed without mercy if he dared to enter the extreme path world without permission. Chapter 5440. An extremely terrifying destructive slash came down, and the figure in front stopped abruptly. In the next moment, there was a roar, and endless light bloomed from his body. Then, a huge iron rod flew over and collided with the destructive aura. With a boom, a terrifying light exploded between heaven and earth, and the figure was pushed back. However, the destructive spear was surprised. He didn't die. It seemed that the person who came was not ordinary, and that weapon was also extremely extraordinary. He was furious, and the destructive aura on his body erupted again. However, the Black Tortoise 8 trigram stopped him from attacking. He looked in front of him in shock. Could it be him? The treasured bottle of life also frowned. That iron rod, could it be? He gasped. This time, the destructive spear also saw it clearly. In front of him was a monkey holding a huge iron rod, and he was staring at the sky angrily. Damn it, do you think I'm easy to bully? What are you doing here? The Black Tortoise 8 trigrams asked. The dragon transformation battle had already ended. Sun Qitian shouted coldly. What dragon transformation battle? I'm not interested. I came here because I felt that there was a force that was calling me. It should be him. The treasured bottle of life was also surprised. The destructive spear nodded. I didn't expect him to come. Bring him in. The 3 extreme weapons shone brightly, and they directly shrouded the monkey below. Then They brought him into the extreme path world. In the next moment, the extreme path world slowly sealed and disappeared. When he appeared again, Sun Qiqian roared crazily. "Damn it, you dare to seal me?" He was really angry. "I'm not afraid of you." He could feel that these three extreme weapons were extremely terrifying, but he wasn't afraid of them. "Don't worry, little monkey, we have no ill intentions towards you. Didn't you feel a force calling you? We'll bring you there now." As they spoke, they quickly flew in the extreme path world. In an instant, they arrived at the Monkey Mountain. Go. Sun Qiqian was stunned this time. Because he found that there was indeed a familiar force in the Monkey Mountain. It was calling him. He nodded and descended. He heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the three extreme grade weapons. Now that he had come, he had fulfilled one of his wishes. "Let's go." The three extreme weapons disappeared into the void. Below, Monkey 3 had an endless supply of spirit monkeys. When they sensed that someone had landed, they also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. Many people rushed out. Among them were Ling Yu and the others. Ling Yu shouted, "Who dares to come to our Monkey Mountain and behave atrociously? It's me, old Sun." Sun Qiqian also landed on the ground. He was just too surprised. He was surrounded by spirit monkeys. Ling Yu and the others were also shocked when they saw that it was actually a monkey. However, this monkey was different from them. Its bloodline was extremely terrifying. They couldn't help but want to kneel and worship him. What kind of soul is this? Your bloodline really shocked them. Some of the older spirit foxes from the Monkey Mountain also walked out. These were the elders of the Spirit Monkey clan, who had fought with the Hell Demon statue. These elders were out on a mission, so they were not present. At this moment, they had all returned. When they saw Sun Qiqian, they were also shocked. They continued to worship him, because this bloodline caused them to feel extremely excited. This was the king of the monkeys. The other spirit monkeys were stunned as well. They looked at each other as if they were looking at gods. Sun Qiqian also retracted the energy in his body. He said, "I came here with no evil intentions. I sensed a summoning force. That's why I came here." The summoning force, could it be? One of the elders' pupils shrank. "Monkey King, please follow me." He brought Sun Qiqian to the Slanted Moon Cave. When they arrived, Sun Qiqian was so excited that his body started to tremble. This was because he sensed that the force was getting stronger. What you want might be inside. Sun Qiqian walked into the Slanted Moon Cave. The surrounding spirit monkeys were waiting outside. When Sun Qiqian entered the Slanted Moon Cave, he sensed a terrifying force. The iron rod in his hand shone brightly and shrouded him. As he walked, he finally saw a towering tree in front of him. It was a Bodhi tree. Under the Bodhi tree, there was a stone with its back facing him. When he sensed the stone monkey, Sun Qiqian's body started to tremble again. His eyes were red. He came in front of the stone monkey. With tears in his eyes, he slowly knelt down. "Father." On the other side, Lin Xian and the others returned to the Holy Abyss ancient city. They returned to the Divine Union. After returning, Lin Xian had a good rest. Now that he was no longer in danger, his nerves were relaxed. In the remaining time, he would recuperate and restore his body to its peak. At the same time, he had to nurture the divine flame seed in his body. However, if he wanted the divine flame seed to grow, he needed power. Moreover, he needed an endless amount of power. If he wanted to become a quasi-emperor, he would need to consume too much power. Given the power of Lin Xian's sword world, it was not enough. Moreover, he needed to nurture the spiritual herbs in the Four Spirit Valley. He also had to restore the sword world. More importantly, he had to use the power inside to activate the heaven-devouring jar or the great dragon sword soul at any time. Therefore, if he could not use these powers, he would need other powers. Fortunately, the Divine Union was also a top-notch sect that was not weaker than the remote antiquity families. Lin Xian could use the resources in the divine union at will. He had asked Bai Susu to gather enough resources for him to absorb. However, he realized that the divine flame seed did not grow much. In fact, it was very slow, and there were no changes. This gave Lin Xian a headache. Although he had become a quasi-emperor, he was not calm. However, he had consumed too much power. Even if he used the power of the entire divine union, it would not be enough. Lin Xian found Morong Qingcheng, Yenryu, the Crimson Dragon, the Toad, Bai Susu, and the others. They had a discussion. They were also very curious. What kind of opportunity had Lin Xian obtained? Tell them quickly. Lin Xian said, I obtained a seed, the divine flame seed. It will allow me to break through to the quasi-emperor without any bottlenecks. Morong Qingcheng and the others were stunned when they heard this. One had to know that Morong Qingcheng had been with the Phoenix race all these years. He had seen many experts of the Phoenix race, including his master, the old Phoenix. However, these people were all peak great sages and could not take that crucial step. This was because there was a bottleneck that blocked them like a moat. No matter how hard they tried, they could not take that step. This was a power that made countless experts despair. It was too difficult to cross the sage realm and become a quasi-emperor. Even the tomb keeper of the dragon monarch, Lord Long Mu, had only taken one step. He had not completely become a quasi-emperor. As for the other quasi-emperors, they were all super experts that could shake the world. Perhaps they had great opportunities or talents that were hard to come by in tens of thousands of years. They were very rare. However, Lin Xian did not have a bottleneck now. As long as he had enough power, he could become a quasi-emperor. If this spread, it would probably shock the entire universe. Chapter 5441. The Crimson Dragon, and the others were incomparably envious. Lin Xian laughed bitterly. Actually, the price was also very high. For example, if I want to break through now, I will need to consume a lot of energy. After saying that, he looked at Bai Susu. The resources you gave me before were not enough. Bai Susu rolled her eyes after hearing that. That little? Heavens, I gave you a lot. Okay. Why do I feel like you are a bottomless pit? He shook his head and said, Yenryu asked, what do you plan to do next? After all, Lin Xian did not have any bottlenecks now. He did not need to comprehend the supreme, heavenly Tao. He could break through to become a quasi-emperor. Therefore, he only needed to collect resources. Lin Xian said that he naturally needed energy. The more energy, the better. Big Brother Xian, do you have a target? We can all help you. That's right, kid. Where are you going to explore? Toad, and the others asked. Bai Susu said, Buried Emperor's Star. A lot of resources have been taken by the various large clans and sections. Therefore, I feel that we should go to other worlds to take a look. Maybe we can attack more worlds. Next, alluring Toad, and the others expressed their thoughts. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes after hearing that. Then he shook his head. No, you are all too slow. Slow? Bai Susu rolled her eyes. I've already told you everything as fast as I can. After attacking those worlds, you can absorb the resources in those worlds. You actually think it is slow. As she said that, she held her forehead with her palm and sighed. Then, there is only one way. You can go and steal from the Emperor clan. She just said that casually. The Crimson Dragon and the others did not take it seriously. However, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He sat up straight, and a smile appeared on his face. Susu, that's a good idea. It is the Emperor clan. What? Bai Susu almost fainted after hearing that. Lin Xian, I was just saying it casually. You really want to attack the Emperor clan? The Emperor clan has been passed down for tens of thousands of years and has an Emperor weapon. If they were really desperate, the other party might even awaken their extreme weapons. How were they supposed to fight then? The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. Damn, kid, you're playing too big. The Toad was delighted. He said, I support you. Which great emperor clan do you want to attack? Move aside. Yan Ruyu and Murong Qingcheng also tried to persuade him. However, Lin Xian said, don't you think that the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty is too arrogant? It's always them who come to attack me. Besides, Wan Longqiao and I are already mortal enemies. They won't let me off either. Since that was the case, why couldn't they target them? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Yan Ryu sucked in a cold breath. You really want to attack the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty? Lin Xian shook his head. No, not the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, but the Dragon Emperor tomb. The tomb of the great emperor. Murong Qingcheng was shocked, and so were the others. They didn't expect that not only did Lin Xian have designs on the Emperor clan, he even had designs on the great emperor. This was too crazy. Lin Xian had his own thoughts. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was indeed despicable. They were mortal enemies, and he had killed the Dragon Prince. Moreover, he had offended the Dragon Emperor 90,000 years ago. Since he had already offended him, he might as well go all out and attack the other party's tomb. A great emperor's tomb was definitely filled with countless treasures. If Lin Xian could attack it, then he would be able to obtain a huge amount of power. Next, he could evolve his divine flame seed. Lin Xian made a decision. Let's do it. Next, we'll attack the Dragon Emperor's tomb. Murong Qingcheng and the others were going crazy. They persuaded him that it was too dangerous. However, Lin Xian shook his head. He was firm in his thoughts. A few days later, the Crimson Dragon and the others had no choice but to agree. Murong Qingcheng said, Okay, Brother Xian, I support you. I'll go with you. Yan Ryu also nodded. The tomb of the great emperor? I'm really looking forward to it. Count me in. Of course, Lin Xian said with a smile. The two of you have to go. Moreover, you have to bring extreme weapons. Lin Xian only had half an extreme weapon in his hands. He couldn't win at all. Therefore, this time, he had to find more people. As for the benefits, they could take whatever they wanted from the tomb. This matter can't be rushed. We have to plan carefully. Bai Susu also said that the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had many allies. If they really fought, the other party could also call for many extreme weapons. Yan Ryu said, that's not necessarily true. If we have an absolute advantage, the other families and sects might not really help. After all, if we open the tomb, they can also enter and get a share of the loot. Therefore, as long as we are tough, those people might just wait and see. Lin Xian nodded. Ryu is right. I think that's also possible. How about this? Contact the Yi family and ask if they want to join forces. Also, gather the strength of the divine union. As for the others, don't tell them for now. We have to launch a thunderous attack. We'll catch them off guard. Okay, I got it. I'll go now. Bai Susu nodded. She and the Crimson Dragon went to gather the allies of the divine union. Yan Ruyu was in charge of gathering the strength. As for Murong Qingcheng, he went to the Yi family to discuss with them. At the same time, they sent people to gather information about the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty and the other families and sections. They were waiting for the right time. Lin Xian was in charge of the Divine Union. At the same time, he went out from time to time to attract the attention of the world. This way, it would be easier for the others to act. Lin Xian hadn't been seriously injured before and had adjusted his condition. Therefore, he strolled around St. Origin Ancient City when he had nothing to do. Countless geniuses gathered in the ancient city. When they saw Lin Xian, they were shocked. Look, it's Lin Wudi. He's a godlike figure. It's said that he was the champion of the dragon transformation trial. Not only that, but do you know about the previous battle? When Lin Wudi came out of the extreme Dao realm, he was besieged. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, the Purple Mansion, the Golden Crow tribe, and Mount Eternal had all sent experts to kill him. That was an earth-shattering battle. In the last few years, the extreme Tao weapons had appeared. However, in the end, Lin Wuyi came back alive. It was said that all the people sent by the Golden Crow tribe had died. Only one of the 10 envoys from Mount Eternal was left. The Purple Mansion and the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were also in a miserable state. The Purple Mansion's double champion, Xiao Ying, was dead. Yao Guang was seriously injured. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was even worse. It was said that one of their ancestors was seriously injured. They had almost died. Exclamations of surprise rang out one after another. Actually, it wasn't just the ancient city. The entire Burial Earth Star knew about this. Of course, Lin Xian had asked the Divine Union to release this news. He wanted to slap these people in the face. At the same time, he wanted to intimidate the world. He wanted to let everyone know the consequences of offending him. Chapter 5442. When the results of this battle spread, the entire Burial Earth Star was stunned. Everyone was terrified. Lin Wuyi was truly too terrifying. He was the #1 Demon King. No one could provoke him. The people of Burial Earth Star were even more terrified. The remote antiquity families and great sects felt their scalps go numb. The young geniuses were also dumbfounded. Xiao Ying had been killed. Xiao Ying was one of the top 10 existences in the Visual Dragon Station. He was so powerful that countless people looked up to him. However, such a person had died at the hands of Lin Xian. What was even more shocking was that only the #1 emissary of Mount Eternal was left. The other 9 had all fallen. These were all double champions. Countless people were terrified. Therefore, when they saw Lin Xian come out, they all felt their scalps go numb. The enemies all ran far away, not daring to come out. Only a few worshippers were looking at him with stars in their eyes. The people of the Divine Union were extremely excited. The young geniuses all ran over to be Lin Xian's followers. However, the patriarchs of the Divine Union's families and the extremely terrifying older generation sucked in a breath of cold air. These days, they had received orders to head to the Divine Union's headquarters. When they arrived, Bai Susu told them a piece of earth-shattering news. They were going to attack the Dragon Emperor's tomb. This was too unbelievable. That was the tomb of a great emperor. Was this Lin Gongzi's idea? That's right. Bai Susu nodded. This matter was absolutely confidential. No one was allowed to speak of it. Otherwise, they knew the consequences. Of course, they had been in the Divine Union for so long. Had they been mistreated? Once the tomb of a great emperor is opened, they could also share the resources inside. We understand. The Nalan family patriarch stood up and said, I am willing to follow Lin Gongzi. That was for sure. The Duga family, the Fire Dragon family, the Eternal Life Hall, and the Fire God Palace all nodded in agreement. The others also took a deep breath. They had decided to follow Lin Xian and attack the tomb of a great emperor. On the other side, Yan Ruyu was also mobilizing resources quickly. This was because they might have to use extreme weapons many times. Every time he used an extreme-grade weapon, the amount of energy required was simply too great. Fortunately, there were many ancient families and great sects in the Divine Union. Furthermore, these clans and sects had control over many of the world's resources, which they could easily mobilize. Yan Ryu knew that this time, it was very likely that the extreme weapons would be fully recovered. Therefore, she had to prepare a little more. As for Qing Cheng, she went to the Yi clan and was personally summoned by the Yi clan. He didn't dare to be careless. This was Lin Xian's Tao companion, and she was also one of the top 10 in the Dragon Transformation Trial. It was a 7-colored phoenix. Luo Yunyang didn't know if the other party was representing the Phoenix tribe or the Divine Union. When Murong Qingqing arrived, he did not hesitate and directly stated the purpose of his visit. The Yi clan's patriarch was dumbfounded. These youngsters were too bold. They actually dared to attack a great emperor's clan. Wouldn't that be too risky? The head of the Yi family frowned. He wondered if Lin Xian had obtained first place in the dragon transformation trial and injured the Thousand Dragon Court. Did he think that he could completely take over a great emperor's clan? The Yi clan was also a large clan, so they naturally knew how terrifying the foundation of a great emperor's clan was. Qingqing Fairy, we have to discuss this matter. Someone, please send the Qingqing Fairy away to rest. Murong Qingqing rested in the Yi clan for 3 days. The Yi clan's patriarch went to discuss this matter with the core elders and the Taihang elder. The supreme elders and experts all sucked in a breath of cold air. After 3 days of discussion, they finally decided not to make a move. After all, they had a lot of concerns. More importantly, Yi Wudao was still in seclusion and had yet to come out. They didn't think too much about it. On the 4th day, the Yi clan's patriarch invited Murong Qingqing over. He said, "I'm afraid the Yi clan will not make a move on this matter. However, don't worry, Qingqing Fairy. If the divine union is in danger, the Yi clan will lend a hand when necessary." "All right, I got it." Murong Qingqing nodded. She then went back to tell Lin Xian the news. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he heard this. He also knew that it wouldn't be easy to invite the other great emperor's clans. After all, this was a direct attack on the ancient tomb of a great emperor. He said, "Qingqing, go to the Phoenix clan. I believe the Phoenix clan will agree." Murong Qingqing returned to the Phoenix clan and found the old Phoenix and the Phoenix clan's patriarch. This explained what they were thinking. The Phoenix clan was naturally shocked and had many different ideas. Some people felt that they could join forces with the Divine Union. After all, Murong Qingqing was a member of the Phoenix clan. He also had a very close relationship with the Divine Union. Perhaps the Thousand Dragon Court also hated them. Murong Qingqing naturally wouldn't have any goodwill towards the Phoenix clan either. Of course, some people also felt that it wasn't a good time to completely fall out with the Thousand Dragon Court. The old Phoenix and the Phoenix clan's patriarch discussed this and ultimately decided to send some powerhouses over. This was considered support. However, the great emperor's soldiers wouldn't go. After all, their princess, Feng Jiu, was still undergoing the ancient emperor's test in the Phoenix clan. Therefore, they had to protect their clan. However, they had indeed made up their minds this time. Not only did they provide a large amount of resources to revive the ancient desolate tower, but they also provided a large amount of resources. They also sent many powerhouses from the Phoenix clan. Murong Qingqing made an agreement with them and returned. Lin Xian nodded when he heard the news. This was already considered a very good situation. At the same time, he also contacted the people from the Heavenly Court and the 9-star immortal platform of the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. Various factions were converging towards the Divine Union. Finally, the day came and Lin Xian felt that it was about time. Through the investigation of the people he sent out, the Thousand Dragon Court had returned and was recuperating. The other clans had also suffered heavy losses. These people wouldn't be able to join forces for the time being. It was time to attack. They had set up a large number of transportation arrays and were ready to teleport at any time. On the other side, Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the others had also soared into the sky and headed towards the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. Some of the ancient tombs of the great emperors were in the monarch clan. Of course, there were also some that weren't. Instead, the great emperors had personally chosen a place with good feng shui to be buried after death. The Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb wasn't in the monarch clan. It was in another place. There were tomb keepers, and Long Mu was personally guarding it. This place was very mysterious. Even in the Dragon clan, only a few people knew about it apart from Long Mu. The other powerhouses didn't know about it either. It was even more impossible for the other clans to know about it. However, Lin Xian had previously fought with Long Mu and even injured him leaving behind an indestructible sword chi in his body. Therefore, Lin Xian could rely on this sword chi to search for it. In fact, Lin Xian had sensed it a long time ago. That huge sword chi had stopped at a certain place. Obviously, Long Mu had returned to the ancient tomb to recover. Lin Xian had already memorized that place. This time, he was going to head there. Chapter 5443. Tianxian Land, one of the main roads above Burial Earth. There was a mountain range on the Tianxian Land that looked extremely ordinary. However, Lin Xian felt that the aura of the great dragon sword soul had stopped here. Was this the place? The toad frowned and said, "Kid, are you mistaken? That's an ancient great emperor of the dragon clan. Would he be buried in such an ordinary place?" However, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The power of reincarnation in his eyes began to bloom as he looked in all directions. On the other side, the crimson dragon was also suspicious. He seemed to have thought of something and quickly looked around. He landed on the ground and looked for mountains and rivers. Then he soared into the sky and called out softly. There was a peerless formation here that covered everything. That's right. The reincarnation light in Lin Xian's eyes kept blooming. He said that there was indeed a peerless formation, and an extremely terrifying one. Murong Qingcheng and the others also gasped after hearing this. Yan Ryu frowned. Is this a formation set up by the Great Emperor? If that's the case, we can't enter at all? Lin Xian gave a cold snort. So, what if it's a formation set up by the Great Emperor? This time, we brought a few supreme Dao weapons, and enough power. If we attack together, we can definitely open this place. That's right. Murong Qingcheng also nodded. Since they found the place, let's make a move. Next, they attacked the ancient desolate tower, Green Lotus, and the sky-swallowing jar. 3 supreme Dao weapons appeared instantly. Then, the terrifying power of the supreme Dao shone in all directions. At this moment, everyone on the Tianxian land sensed it. There was a supreme Dao presence in the sky. Darn it, what was happening? Before they could react, suddenly an earth-shattering sound came. The entire Tianxian land shook violently as countless cracks spread in the sky. Those people all fell to the ground in fear. At this moment, regardless of the powerful families and sects on the Tianxian land or the demonic beasts in the endless mountain range, they were all scared silly. They kept kowtowing towards the distance. Could it be that the Emperor clan wanted to destroy them? Not only the Tianxian land, everyone on the other continents also sensed it. After all, the entire Burial Earth star would be able to sense the presence of an extreme weapon. What's going on? I seem to have sensed the aura of the heaven-swallowing jar. Damn it, it was Lin Wudi. Who was he going to attack? Some of the enemies acted as if they were facing a great enemy. That was because the current Lin Xian was simply too terrifying. He was now known as the #1 demonic god. He was simply a killing god, and no one dared to provoke him. However, when they sensed it carefully, they frowned. It was because they realized that the other party seemed to be attacking from the distant Tianxian land. What was going on? Did anyone in the Tianxian land provoke him? The members of the Golden Crow tribe and the Gemini of Destiny tribe heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they weren't targeted at them. Purple, the Gu clan, and the others were incomparably puzzled. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's disciples were quite shocked and wondered which unlucky person had offended them. However, the pupils of the old sacred lords of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty constricted. Profound sky continent. They had a bad premonition because their dragon's tomb was buried there. Could it be that they were going to attack the dragon's tomb? I sensed the presence of several supreme Dao weapons. It shouldn't be. That guy couldn't find the Dragon Emperor's tomb. For your information, the Dragon Emperor's tomb was protected by a peerless Great Emperor formation. The other Great Emperor clans could not even find it, not to mention this kid. A few supreme elders discussed here, as they felt it was unlikely. Endless cracks spread across the Tianxian land. The supreme Tao presence swept across all directions. No one dared to come. A few figures stood in the sky. They were Lin Xian and the others. They looked at the scene before them and exclaimed in surprise. Indeed, there was a formation. Previously, they used 3 supreme Tao weapons to launch a world-shaking attack. When it collided with the Great Emperor formation, it tore a crack open. The Great Emperor's array was like a mirror shattering an area. The scene inside also emerged. After Lin Xian and the others saw it, they were even more astonished. It was an ordinary mountain range, but inside the formation, it was not ordinary at all. Between heaven and earth, there were countless great Tao surrounding it. The dragon chi turned into dragon shadows that wander between heaven and earth, full of divine presence. Inside, ancient trees towered into the sky, spiritual herbs were everywhere, and flowers were falling everywhere. It was full of endless vitality, as if it was a land of immortals. The toad looked at the scene inside the formation while looking at the surrounding ordinary mountain range. The gap between the two sides was too big. Damn. As expected of the ancient great emperor. Indeed, it was powerful. Who knew that under this ordinary mountain range, there was a peerless treasure land hidden. Great, the Crimson Dragon was also overjoyed. There must be heaven-defying treasures in the Dragon Emperor's tomb. This time, we're rich. In this heaven-like scene, a figure appeared. It was an old figure. After he appeared, he looked up at the sky, and his scalp went numb. Lin Wuti, it's you. This is impossible. How did you find this place? This person was Lord Longmu. At this moment, he was standing in the Dragon Emperor's tomb, completely stunned. One must know that in the Thousand Dragon Dynasty, less than 5 people knew about this place. But now, Lin Wuti had found it. How did he do it? Why, are you surprised? Do you think the Dragon Emperor's tomb is a supreme secret? But unfortunately, I know about it. Damn it, Lin Wuti, this is not a place where you can come. Hurry up and get lost, or I'll destroy your star soul. He was really crazy. If this secret was discovered, then the entire Burial Earth Star would know. Next, the other great Emperor clans might have ideas about the Dragon Emperor's tomb. If the Dragon Emperor's tomb was really opened, he couldn't explain it to the Dragon Clan. After he died, he couldn't explain it to the Dragon Emperor. Therefore, he roared crazily. Previously, he was injured in the battle with Lin Xian, and even his foundation was injured. After all, he was already very old and didn't have much lifespan left. But now, he couldn't care less. With a wave of his dragon claw, the endless power of the laws in the Dragon Emperor's territory condensed, and the broken formation also exploded instantly. In an instant, it charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian and the others' pupils shrank. They quickly used their extreme weapons to collide. With a clang, another earth-shattering sound came. The Tianxian continent kept shaking, as if the world was about to be destroyed. At this moment, everyone on the Burial Earth Star was also shocked. Extreme Tao battle? Those from the monarch clans went crazy because they clearly sensed that one side was the power of the devouring heaven jar. This was Lin Wuti. Who was the other side? Many people were ready to go and watch. The supreme elders of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also rose into the air. They were dumbfounded. Damn it, not good. 1,000 Dragon Dynasty, listen to my command. Attack together. A loud voice sounded in the 1,000 Dragon Dynasty. At this moment, the young disciples of the 1,000 Dragon Dynasty were stunned. Damn it, what happened? Chapter 54-44. The entire 1,000 Dragon Court went crazy. A large number of Dragon Clan experts soared into the sky and followed the Grand Elder. Those who had not grown up stayed here to guard. The Great Emperor formation of the 1,000 Dragon Court was activated and isolated everything. The people on the buried Emperor Star were also stunned. What had happened for the Thousand Dragon Court to act so crazily? They seemed to be heading to the Tian Xian land. Could it be they were going to kill Lin Wudy again? Impossible! The Thousand Dragon Court did not have this ability. Lin Wudy had completely grown up. It was too difficult for the Thousand Dragon Court alone to kill Lin Wudy. But why do I feel this murderous intent, as if they are risking their lives? Countless experts were discussing in low voices. Even those from the great emperor families were shocked. For example, those from the Kuan-Peng clan frowned tightly. It's the Tian Xian land. Your Highness, did you feel a special presence? Those divine ancestors looked at Kuan-Peng-zi. Kuan-Peng-zi also frowned. A divine treasure land seemed to have appeared on the Tian Xian land. The information inside was too terrifying. Not only them, the Fire Qilin clan was the same. Cold light burst out from Fire Spirit's eyes. Let's go and see. They soared into the sky. At this moment, countless people followed them. They wanted to see what had happened on the Tian Xian land. Although those from the Thousand Dragon Court were crazy, they still did not understand why the elder asked them to go to the Tian Xian land. During the transportation process, the elder said that the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb had been opened on the Tian Xian land. Lin Wudy wanted to invade the ancient tomb. As soon as he said this, the Dragon Clan experts that followed them went completely crazy. What? The ancient tomb of the Dragon Emperor. It was there. Darn it. No one was allowed to step in. Kill Lin Wudy. With bloodshot eyes, they charged out madly. While the Thousand Dragon Court flew, they activated the Peerless Formation at an extreme speed. Soon, they arrived at the Tian Xian land and let out waves of dragon roars. Lin Wudy, if you dare to make a move, we will let you die without a burial place. As the 10,000 dragons roared, everyone on the Tian Xian land went crazy. The Dragon Clan also came? Then they fainted from fright. It was because besides the Dragon Clan, the Qilin clan and the Kuan-Peng clan had all arrived. The Gu clan had arrived, the Z mansion had arrived, and the other remote antiquity clans and peerless sects had all arrived. At this moment, all the top powerhouses on the buried Emperor Star had gathered at the Tian Xian land. The Tian Xian land itself also possessed many top-notch families and sections. They had already made their move. They arrived at the vicinity of the Dragon Emperor territory. Of course, they didn't dare to get too close. The aura in front was too terrifying, but they still saw the scene in front of them. They were stunned. What was originally an ordinary mountain range had actually turned into a paradise on Earth. What was that? Why do I feel boundless Emperor's might? They hadn't thought of the Dragon Emperor's tomb yet. After all, the Dragon Emperor's tomb had never appeared before. All of a sudden, they saw the space in front of them being torn apart as tens of thousands of dragons descended. 100,000 experts of the Dragon Dynasty. These ancient families were shocked. They actually came so quickly. The Crimson Dragon and the others also frowned, but Lin Xian remained unmoved. His expression was calm because everything was going according to his plan. If he were to attack the Dragon Emperor's tomb, the other party would definitely come. Therefore, he was not surprised. Master Long Mu, after the 3 supreme elders in the lead descended, they immediately asked what was going on. Long Mu said coldly, "Stop them and don't allow anyone to step in. Don't worry, this is the Dragon Emperor's territory. No one can enter." The 3 supreme elders pointed their swords forward. The other elite warriors of the Dragon Clan also roared to the sky. Their cold eyes stared at everything. Get lost! The furious roars of tens of thousands of dragons sounded like millions of thunderbolts in the sky. At this moment, the 9 heavens and 10 earths were shattering. Those remote antiquity families felt their scalps go numb as they stepped back again. At this moment, the Kuan-Peng clan, Qilin clan, Gu family, and Z mansion had all arrived. They were also shocked when they saw this scene. These were all emperor clans. They cried out in surprise. Could it be the Dragon Emperor's tomb? Behind them were those remote antiquity families and unparalleled sects such as the Golden Crow clan and the Wind clan. They were also shocked when they heard this. Dragon Emperor's tomb? The Great Emperor's tomb? It had appeared, and it was Lin Xian who did it. No wonder the scene was so shocking. No wonder the Thousand Dragon Dynasty was so crazy. The Dragon Emperor's tomb was almost opened. This Lin Wuti was too bold. The people of the Golden Crow clan felt their scalps go numb. The other great emperor clans also wore solemn expressions. The people of the Yi family sighed. They had known about this long ago, but they did not participate because they had their own concerns. On the other side, the Fire Qilin Cave and the other emperor clans were shocked. Great, if the ancient emperor's tomb could be opened, then there would definitely be endless treasures inside. After they got it, they would definitely be able to improve by leaps and bounds. More importantly, this was not their clan's tomb, so they did not have to worry at all. Fire Qilin sneered. The Dragon clan was really unlucky. Even the Dragon Emperor's tomb was discovered. On the other hand, the people of the Kuan Peng clan frowned. They were also emperor clans. Their emperor's tomb was hidden very well and was protected by an emperor formation. Even a boundary emperor could not find it. Unless another emperor appeared, they would not find it. But now, how did Lin Xian find it? In fact, Lin Xian could find it by chance. If he had not injured Long Mu and left the aura of the great dragon sword spirit in Long Mu's body, he would not have been able to find it. He probably would not have found it. Of course, no one knew about this. If Long Mu knew, he probably would not attack Lin Xian, even if he was beaten to death. Lin Wuti, leave quickly. I can let bygones be bygones. If you dare to take another step forward, I will destroy your soul. The Dragon clan's divine ancestor roared, crazily. They were really crazy. My Dragon Emperor's tomb is not something you can enter. Now, get lost. Another angry roar. The 10,000 dragon diagram appeared and floated between heaven and earth. It borrowed the power of the dragon territory and completely erupted. It was as if it was going to be revived. Seeing this scene, the others felt their scalps go numb. The Thousand Dragon Dynasty did not intend to hold back at all. Lin Xian snorted coldly. 3 extreme weapons also rose above their heads to block the 10,000 dragon diagram. Lin Xian laughed loudly. Thousand Dragon Dynasty, when you were chasing me, did you think that this day would come? You tried to assassinate me several times, and every time, you would join forces with others to kill me. Today, it's time to let you know the consequences of offending me. Today, I must enter the Dragon Emperor's tomb. His voice was sonorous, and his eyes were filled with incomparable light. Just you? Lord Longmu sneered. Kid, I was careless last time, but now, in the Dragon Emperor's territory, you have no right to behave atrociously. Chapter 5445. The powerhouses of the 10,000 Dragon Court emitted endless auras. The extreme weapon, 10,000 Dragon Picture, spun in the sky, emitting a terrifying light that suppressed everything. Apart from that, these powerhouses of the dragon race also had several sacred weapons in their hands, as well as other magical treasures. They were facing a great enemy. Lin Xian sneered. Do you think that only a few of us came this time? What a joke! As he spoke, he waved his hand, and a sword light shot into the sky, circling between heaven and earth. The entire burial earth star could see it. It was like a sun. The surrounding void continued to shatter, and violent rumbling sounds could be heard. One after another, teleportation portals appeared. Then, one figure after another appeared in the super teleportation portals. They were like demonic gods standing above the 9 heavens. Their terrifying auras swept out in all directions. What a terrifying power. The surrounding people were also shocked. They were from the divine union. They realized that they were indeed from the divine union. The Nalan family, the Dugov family, the fire dragon race, and even people with 9-star immortal foundations appeared. These people had sent out top experts with powerful sacred weapons. After they appeared, they swept through the area. Not only that, but the people of the heavenly court also came. The Phoenix race also sent experts. These two forces were even more terrifying. They appeared above the 9 heavens. They faced off against the 10,000 dragon court. The 10,000 dragon court frowned. Although they were monarch races and had a strong foundation, the current divine union was very powerful. However, the current divine union was developing at a terrifying pace. Furthermore, Lin Xian had 3 extreme grade weapons. There were so many experts. If they really fought, they might not be able to hold on. Damn it. The dragons of the 10,000 dragon court gritted their teeth. Unknowingly, Lin Wuti had grown to such an extent, even the monarch races were terrified. The other clans and sects also sucked in a breath of cold air. This Lin Wuti was really not to be trifled with. Summon the dragon race. Long Mu snorted coldly. The 10,000 dragons roared. They were also summoning the dragon race. The 10,000 dragon court was a branch of the dragon race. Other than that, there were other dragon races. For example, the Dragon Sea race, the Thunder Dragon race, the Wind Dragon race, and so on. At this moment, they were all summoned. Both sides faced off, and a huge battle was about to break out. The other families and sects felt their scalps go numb. Such a battle was equivalent to 2 monarch races fighting. It would definitely be able to sweep through everything. If he ran any slower, he would probably be reduced to ashes. Lin Wuti, how dare you attack the Dragon Emperor's tomb of the 1,000 Dragons dynasty? Kneel and accept your death. Dragon Sea Lord roared madly. His son had also died in the hands of the other party. At this moment, his eyes were bloodshot. Lin Xian snorted coldly. I said that your 10,000 dragon dynasty has tried to kill me many times, and now you have to suffer my wrath. My goal today is to punish you and open the Dragon Emperor's tomb. Courting death. Attack. Long Mu roared out in rage. The powerful beings of the dragon race rushed over in a frenzy. On the other side, the members of the Divine Union also made their move. The two sides instantly engaged in a fierce battle. All sorts of laws emerged one after another, sweeping through the 9 heavens. At this moment, everyone was stunned. It wasn't that they hadn't experienced great battles before. In fact, those who came here were all top-notch experts and terrifying saints. They had experienced countless battles. However, none of them were the same as this one. What kind of battle was this? This was a battle between 2 Emperor clan level people. With so many saints attacking at the same time, the momentum was truly terrifying. Even those from the great Emperor clans sucked in a breath of cold air. For so many years, their great Emperor clans had been high and mighty, the strongest existences in the universe. No one had ever dared to challenge them. Even those ancient families had to bow their heads in front of them. Apart from that, although the other great Emperor clans had fought among themselves, it had never reached the point of falling out. Not to mention attacking like this without any regard for the consequences. Therefore, at this moment, when they saw this battle, they were also shocked. How many years had it been since they had felt such fear? They stared at one person among the millions of people. Lin Wuti. Was this young man going to sweep through the entire burial Earth star alone? Did he already dare to start a war with the great Emperor clans? Who would be able to suppress him in the future? Should they make a move? The young geniuses of the Purple Mansion and the Fire Qilin Cave looked at their elders. At this time, they should join forces with the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty to attack Lin Wuti. They had to let everyone know the strength of the Emperor clans. Otherwise, their reputation would plummet in the future. However, the divine ancestors of the Purple Mansion and the Qilin clan frowned. Their gazes were uncertain. They did not make a move. To be honest, they should help the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. The Emperor clans were not to be challenged. However, the situation was completely different now. Lin Wuyi was too strong. Perhaps he really could open the ancient tomb. Once this place was opened, everyone could enter. Then they would also be able to obtain opportunities. Moreover, even if the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty wanted to take revenge, they would only look for Lin Xian, who had opened the ancient tomb. Moreover, this was an era of great competition. In this era, there would definitely be a great emperor rising to the top. Therefore, these great clans were fighting more fiercely in this era than in any other. Therefore, they did not want to help the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Of course, they would not help Lin Wuyi. All they wanted to do was sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. After the victor was decided, they would be able to make a move. Kill. The Crimson Dragon led the people of the Black Sea Dragon tribe and charged towards the Dragon Sea tribe. The two sides were also mortal enemies. Their killing intent soared as the two great dragon tribes clashed. The momentum was great. On the other side, Bai Susu led the people of the Divine Union and swept in all directions. The battle between the two sides was really intense. In an instant, it was difficult to determine the victor and the loser. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had ugly expressions on their faces. They were from the Emperor tribe. However, at this moment, they were unable to suppress the other party and were eventide. What was going to happen next? They did not dare to imagine. Long Mu also shouted coldly and fully awakened. 10,000 Dragons diagram. With a roar, endless power surged out of the dragon territory. The dragon tribe also took out a large amount of power. In the starry sky above the 9 heavens, stars shattered and turned into powder. The power instantly surged into the 10,000 Dragons diagram. At this moment, the 10,000 Dragons diagram completely erupted. Everyone was sent flying and vomited blood. The others were terrified. A few of the Emperor tribe members also hurriedly retreated. They used extreme weapons to defend themselves. The 10,000 Dragons diagram fully awakened. An extreme weapon attack was enough to turn any sect into ashes. The people of the Divine Union were terrified. Under this power, they could not resist. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Fully awaken, desolate tower. With a roar, Murong Qingcheng raised the desolate tower. The desolate tower bloomed between heaven and earth, emitting a desolate aura. The forces that they had prepared previously also moved out crazily. The desolate tower continued to erupt and fully awaken. Chapter 54-46. Fight in the 9 heavens. The Gu family, the Kuanping family, and the other great emperor families roared crazily. They would not allow such an extreme battle to happen. On Buried Earth Star, after the 2 extreme weapons returned, they tore through the void. They came to the universe, and a shocking battle happened. With this attack, hundreds of stars and worlds in the outer realm were instantly turned into ashes. An extremely terrifying power happened. Everyone looked up at the sky. When they saw this scene, they were all terrified. If this attack landed on the Tianyuan continent, the entire Tianyuan continent would probably be turned into ashes. The great emperor family's faces were cold. They were high and mighty, ruling the 8 desolates. However, they did not dare to have such an extreme battle on Buried Earth Star. After all, there were too many existences buried here. There was the Dragon Emperor's tomb here, and there might be other great emperors' tombs. There might even be people from the Forbidden Lands. If they really attacked these people who knew what would happen, after the attack, the 2 extreme weapons flew back. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had ugly expressions. They did not expect the other party to have the power to resurrect the extreme weapons. Damn it, this way they would lose the advantage between them. Because Lin Xian still had two extreme weapons on his side. The Green Lotus swept across the 8 desolates, and many experts of the Dragon Clan were turned into ashes. The sky-swallowing jar swallowed the sky and the earth, and those experts of the Dragon Clan were about to go crazy. No, they retreated in horror. This was a complete beating. No matter how strong the 10,000 Dragons portrait was, it could not block 3 extreme weapons. Was the Dragon Clan going to be finished today? They were all desperate. Long Mu's expression was also ugly. Damn it, if she became a quasi-emperor, she could definitely defeat the other party with the 10,000 Dragons portrait. However, it was a pity that he only had 1 foot out of the Saint Realm. She was not a true quasi-emperor yet. Of course, she would not let these people enter so easily. The other Dragon Clan's sacred ancestors shouted angrily, "Fellow Taoists, please attack." Fellow Taoists from the Purple Mansion sect and the Gu family. Fellow Taoists from the Qilin clan. They began to frantically ask for help. However, the Fire Qilin said, "Sorry, seniors of the Dragon Clan, this is between you and Lin Wudi. We can't interfere." The Purple Mansion sect also shook their heads and did not attack. At this moment, everyone from the dragon race went crazy. The people from before were no longer willing to help them. Long Mu also shouted coldly. There was no need to beg them. They were just going to sit on top of the mountain and watch the tigers fight. If we lose, these people will enter the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb like crazy. The other people who had attacked him sucked in a breath of cold air. The older generation sighed, while the younger generation despaired. So cruel. Both sides were emperor clans. Shouldn't they help each other? Yet now, the other imperial clans actually wanted to devour them. Don't worry, the 10,000 Dragons picture is of the Arch family. It has stood tall in the universe for tens of thousands of years. Our foundation is not that simple. If Lin Wudi wanted to enter the Imperial Dragon Tomb, he would have to pay the price. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were all excited. They clenched their fists. What other powerful trump cards do you have? They were filled with anticipation. However, in the next moment, they were dumbfounded. That was because Long Mu had told them to enter the ancient tomb. What? The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty went crazy. Even the Grand Elder's pupils shrank. "My lord, you can't. The Dragon Monarch is our ancestor, and no one is allowed to disturb him." "That's right. What right does Lin Wudi have to enter our Imperial Dragon Tomb? He's not worthy." These people roared crazily. Long Mu also said, "Of course, I know that he's not worthy. But the current situation is the greatest crisis that the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty has encountered in the past tens of thousands of years. There have never been 3 extreme weapons against us together. Not to mention, there are other Arch families eyeing us covetously. Now, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty alone can't stop him. However, the Dragon Monarch didn't only leave behind the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, but also the Imperial Dragon Tomb. I'm the Tomb Keeper, and I guard this place, but I can only move around the periphery of the Imperial Dragon Tomb. But even so, I'm about to become a quasi-emperor. One could imagine how many secrets there were in the Imperial Dragon Tomb. However, the Dragon Monarch didn't plan to let others in on these secrets. Even I can't enter the depths of the Imperial Dragon Tomb. There are too many dangers inside. According to my deduction, even a quasi-emperor would most likely die if he entered. He might not even be able to come out alive. Therefore, these people were too reckless to have any ideas about the Imperial Dragon Tomb. Let them die in the ancient tomb. These words were transmitted to everyone in the nest of 10,000 dragons by Long Mu. After these people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty heard it, they were also shocked. To be honest, they really didn't know anything about the Imperial Dragon Tomb. The only person they could trust now was Lord Longmu, because Longmu was the tomb keeper of the Imperial Dragon Tomb. Since he said it was okay, the other people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty didn't dare to object. They nodded. All right, let's do as Lord Longmu said. Lord Longmu's eyes also shone with a cold light. Don't worry, let Lin Wudi and the other Arch families explore this time. We'll follow behind. Once there are treasures, we'll snatch them. And if there's any danger, let Lin Wudi and the other Arch families bear it. There was also a cold light in his eyes. To be honest, he also wanted to enter the Imperial Dragon Tomb, but he wasn't qualified. In this world, the only one who was qualified was the Dragon Prince. However, the Dragon Prince died before he fully grew up. Therefore, others couldn't enter the Imperial Dragon Tomb at all. Longmu knew that the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had lost a prince. In the future, it would be difficult for them to compete with the other Arch families. And this time, opening the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb might be an opportunity. If he could become a boundary emperor, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty would be able to reach a higher level. In the future, they wouldn't be at a disadvantage. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath, and the fists in his sleeves trembled. He walked out and said loudly, Lin Wudi, do you want to enter the Imperial Dragon Tomb? All right, I'll fulfill your wish. When he said this, Lin Xian was stunned. The people of the Divine Union were also stunned. Did the other party agree? This didn't seem possible. They felt like they were dreaming. The surrounding Arch families were also stunned. Was the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty crazy? They were also shocked. The people of the Kunping race sighed. There was no choice. If they didn't help, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty wouldn't be able to resist the 3 extreme weapons. Qilin's son narrowed his eyes. He had really succeeded. Looks like we should also prepare to take action. Their eyes shone with a cold light. It was the same for the people of the Purple Mansion. Everyone was eager to enter. Lord Longmu snorted coldly. It wasn't just Lin Wudi. Anyone could enter if they wanted to. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty seemed to be completely open, shocking everyone. Even the people from the Imperial clans started to frown again. This situation was completely out of their expectations. Originally, they wanted to fight their way in, but now the other party was letting them in. There must be something fishy going on. Chapter 54-47. At this moment, everyone was confused. The 1,000 Dragon Court's attitude didn't seem right. Lin Xian also frowned. He knew that he could enter this time, but he hadn't expected it to be so easy. He had only resisted one extreme grade weapon. Had he entered? That wasn't possible. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was simply too spineless. Or did they have other plans? The Crimson Dragon flew back and said, Kid, be careful. That's the Dragon Emperor's tomb. The Dragon Emperor must have set up other traps. It might be extremely dangerous. The 1,000 Dragon Court has lost to us in terms of extreme grade weapons. They can't beat us, but they can use us to kill us. They can use the Dragon Emperor's power to kill us. Morong Qingcheng Yenryu and the others also frowned and looked at Lin Xian. What should they do? Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, Isn't the purpose of our trip here to enter the Dragon Emperor's tomb? Now that we can enter, what are we waiting for? After saying that, Lin Xian walked forward. Morong Qingcheng and the others also said, Okay, let's go. The Divine Union people followed Lin Xianin. Lin Wudi entered. The Fire Qilin frowned when he saw this. Then he snorted and said, Let's go to, apart from them. The other monarch clans and remote antiquity clans also entered. That was because this was a great opportunity for him. Even though they knew that there was danger inside, they didn't want to miss it. This was the tomb of the Arch. Who knew if they would open it? If they missed this opportunity, they wouldn't have another chance in their lifetime. The 1,000 Dragon Court people gritted their teeth when they saw these people enter. However, Lord Longmu sneered and said, Come on in. None of you can leave. He had full confidence in the Dragon Emperor's tomb. These people would regret it. After these people went in, he waved his hand and led the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court to follow behind them. Lin Xian walked at the front. His body was covered in powerful flames. He was like a god of war, sweeping in all directions. Of course, he didn't dare to be careless. This was the tomb of the Arch. It was definitely dangerous. He had known this for a long time. However, he had come this time in order to gather resources so that his divine flame seed could grow quickly. Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingcheng, and the others gasped when they saw the scene around them. As expected of the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb, this space was called the Dragon Emperor's domain. The mountains and rivers inside were truly too terrifying. They carried a primordial aura and supreme laws. Every leaf and flower was incomparably mysterious and unfathomable. Roar. Suddenly, an old tree in front of them let out a roar that sounded like the roar of a divine dragon. It was extremely terrifying. His voice spread out in all directions. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He let out a roar and took out the firmament battle map to defend himself. The battle map kept enlarging and enveloping him and the people from the Divine Union. The others were also shocked and quickly put up their defenses. Those from the Emperor clan also took action. Of course, not everyone was able to withstand it. In the blink of an eye, thousands of sages were turned into ashes and blood rained down. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. They had just entered, and thousands of experts had already fallen in the face of a group of ancient trees. How terrifying would it be if they continued going in? Some people from the various clans and sects hesitated. Although this was a great opportunity, they didn't have the strength. They didn't dare advance any further. However, more people still braced themselves and continued forward. Lin Xian, who was in front, made his move again. With a wave of his hand, the firmament battle map flew out and chopped down the ancient tree that had let out the roar. On top of that, he also collected all the spiritual herbs in the surroundings and threw them into the sky-devouring jar. The people in the surroundings also took action quickly. Of course, the people from the Emperor clan didn't take action. They didn't care about such things. What they wanted was the core item inside. At the same time, they were also puzzled. Why had Lin Wuyi taken action? Lin Wuyi didn't seem like someone who lacked resources. After all, the Divine Union had already grown into a colossus. Actually, even the people from the Divine Union were very puzzled. Hadn't they given Lin Wuyi any resources? They shouldn't have. Only a few people knew that Lin Xian needed too many resources. Even if the entire Divine Union gave him all of it, it wouldn't be enough. They reckoned that it wouldn't be enough. Therefore, Lin Xian had set his sights on the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. Wherever he passed, all the spiritual flowers and spiritual trees were uprooted. The people following behind him had strange expressions on their faces. They were like locusts. Wherever they passed, everything ceased to exist. The people from the Thousand Dragon Dynasty were gnashing their teeth. Lord Longmu was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He hadn't expected Lin Wuyi to be so despicable. I'll just bear with it and wait for you guys to be unlucky later. He knew that there was an extremely dangerous place ahead that even he didn't dare enter rashly. Lin Xian led the way, while the Emperor clan people followed with gloomy expressions. Meanwhile, the other clans and sects also started to collect as much as they could. The Emperor clan people didn't care about these things. However, they treated them like priceless treasures. In an instant, the entire scene was very lively. Boom! Suddenly, the vines in front danced, turning into a few thousand meters of lightning that slashed towards the surroundings. One of them slashed toward Lin Xian, while the other slashed toward the others with total annihilation. Suddenly, there was an intense explosion. Lin Xian blocked the attack and came to a stop. The others weren't so lucky. They were instantly cut apart and screamed on the ground. Many people were directly killed in both body and soul. The others sucked in a breath of cold air. 2 vines were already so terrifying. What was this? Was it an extremely terrifying beast? Yenryu and the others were also facing a great enemy. The ancient tomb was definitely not to be underestimated. Great, it had appeared. Behind them, Lord Longmu sneered. He told the people from the Thousand Dragon Dynasty to retreat quickly. There was an extremely terrifying existence ahead. Although he was a tombkeeper, he could only go this far. Because of the existence ahead, he couldn't go any further. This was an obstacle that he hadn't been able to break through for thousands of years. Therefore, in his opinion, the people ahead couldn't enter at all. The people from the Thousand Dragon Dynasty were shocked when they heard this. They retreated while feeling curious. What exactly was ahead? Was it a plant-type beast? Could it be that the Dragon Emperor personally planted it? They were all looking forward to it. It would be best if they could kill these people. Some ancient families and peerless sects gritted their teeth. They stared fixedly at the vines. Damn it, what a terrifying beast. Should they go around it? No, these vines were thousands or even tens of thousands of meters long. How could they go? Their faces were pale. Lin Xian's face darkened. His gaze passed through the vines and looked even further away. He shouted coldly, "Get out here!" Chapter 5448. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light as he stared ahead. There was a mountain range in front of him, and the vines kept circling around. However, Lin Xian could see that there was a cave behind the vines. There was a black figure hidden in the cave. Hearing Lin Xian's cold shout, the black figure in the cave let out a low roar. Then it pounced over like lightning towards Lin Xian. His attack enveloped everyone. Damn it, what is this? Those people sensed this aura and felt as if they were facing a great enemy. They shouted angrily and retreated. However, it was useless. After the black figure came out, tens of thousands of vines danced together and charged towards the great emperor family and the clan of the ancients. Hurry up and attack. These people shouted angrily and attacked one after another. Lin Xian was equally cold. He used his finger like a sword and slashed out. A biting cold sword light charged forward. An earth-shattering sound was heard, and the black figure was forced back. The other people's blood boiled as they looked carefully. What exactly is that? It was so terrifying. In the next moment, they saw a huge monster. It was a beast that looked very ferocious and had a monstrous, murderous aura on its body. As soon as it appeared, everyone's scalps went numb. When the elder of the Kuan-Peng clan saw it, he exclaimed, "Cheong-Chi, it's the Cheong-Chi." What? It's actually such a terrifying beast. Cheong-Chi is a very famous ancient beast. I didn't expect to see it here. Damn it, we've just entered the Dragon Emperor's tomb, and we've already encountered such a terrifying beast. Behind them, the people of the Thousand Dragon Court were also shocked. Lord Longmu's face was cold. This beast was very terrifying. Even he was stopped and didn't dare to go deeper. Of course, he felt that he could suppress it with his full strength. However, this was a trap set up by the Dragon Emperor, and he was just a tombkeeper. Therefore, after trying a few times and failing, he stopped advancing. However, he felt that it was enough to stop Lin Wudi and the others. After the Cheong-Chi came out, it roared and charged over. The murderous aura on its body rushed out, forming terrifying rays of light. It swept in all directions. Many people couldn't withstand it at all, and were instantly sent flying. Their bodies were torn apart. Some of them were directly destroyed in body and soul. As for those from the Emperor clan and the others, they all used their exceptional divine abilities to resist. Damn it, quickly disperse. Previously, they felt that it was dangerous to follow behind Lin Xian, so they let Lin Xian block them. they can reduce some of the damage. But now, it seemed that it was impossible. Lin Xian could block it, but they couldn't. We have to spread out. In an instant, the crowd dispersed. Bai Susu asked with a frown, Lin Xian, should we make a move? The reincarnation light in Lin Xian's eyes continued to blossom as he stared at Qiongqi. Then, the corners of his mouth curled up as he snorted coldly. Of course, he had to make a move. Not only did he have to make a move, he also had to obtain the demonic energy core inside it. Boom, boom. The battle behind them was extremely terrifying. Those people from the Gu family used their void divine abilities to escape. The elder of the Phoenix tribe shouted angrily. He turned into an immortal shadow and slammed his palms onto Qiongqi's body. He let out an earth-shattering sound. Qiongqi roared angrily. He was forced back, but he wasn't injured. Then he swung his tail and turned it into a heavenly blade that charged towards the other side. The people of the Kunpeng tribe used their yin and yang auras to form a sky barrier to block it. On the side of the Fire Qilin cave, they turned into Fire Qilins to fight against it. The battle between the divine beasts and the ferocious beasts was extremely terrifying. Of course, more people wanted to escape from this place and continue forward. They didn't want to fight against the ferocious beasts. For a moment, the scene was very complicated. Let's go. The people of the Gu family were the first to teleport through space and leave this place. The people of the Fire Qilin clan were also fighting as they left. They didn't want to fight for a long time here. However, Lin Xian turned around and charged over. This caused those people from the monarch clans to be stunned. What was this Lin Wudi doing? Why couldn't they understand everything that the other party was doing? In front, the people of the Kunpeng tribe were still fighting with Qiongqi. Qiongqi waved his claws and struck the yin and yang aura of the Kunpeng tribe like a divine mountain. These elders were beaten until they vomited blood. Kunpeng Zi's blood was also boiling. When he said, "Let's go," they finally gave up resisting. There was no choice. This thing was really too terrifying. It was an ancient ferocious beast, and it was in the Dragon Emperor realm. God knew how terrifying the other party was. Lin Xian charged over. He held the heavens of the battle map in his hand and directly attacked. The heavens of the battle map emitted endless power and collided with Qiongqi's claws. Qiongqi was instantly forced back. However, it wasn't injured. Lin Xian's eyes lit up and he quickly attacked. Morong Qingcheng and Yanryu also attacked. The three of them attacked together. Bai Susu was leading the people of the alliance to attack from afar. The dark red divine dragon, on the other hand, activated formations. One after another, they covered the sky and covered the earth. The battle was very terrifying. When the others saw this, they sneered and shook their heads. This Lin Wudi was too stupid. Couldn't he just dodge the attack and continue moving? Why did he have to compete with Qiongqi? They didn't understand. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was getting fiercer and fiercer. The heavens of the battle map, the yin-yang sword Qi, the power of the divine body, and the terrifying swordsmanship. Qiongqi kept retreating. In addition, Yanryu and the others attacked together. Finally, they found an opportunity to suppress it. The heavens of the battle map stopped the other party. Lin Xian's Rinnegan shone brightly. He stared at Qiongqi's glabella. In the next moment, he stretched out 3 fingers and grabbed toward Qiongqi's glabella. Qiongqi roared at the sky. However, not only was it suppressed by the heavens of the battle map, but it was also suppressed by Yanryu and Morong Qingcheng. Lin Xian finally grabbed the other party's glabella and waved it forcefully. He directly pulled out a piece of something. It was a crystal that emitted a black light. The aura on it was really terrifying. As soon as he appeared, Qiongqi stopped struggling. It froze there. The murderous aura on its body stopped. What was going on? The surrounding people were all stunned. They were dumbfounded. Even Long Mu's pupils constricted. This thing was a puppet. He was really surprised. He had fought with this Cheong Chi several times, but he was stopped by it. He didn't go in. He always thought that it was a real monster. It was raised here by the Dragon Emperor. But he didn't expect that it was just a puppet created by the Dragon Emperor. Moreover, he didn't expect that Lin Xian and the others were so powerful that they could suppress the Cheong Chi puppet. More importantly, Lin Xian actually took out the energy core of the puppet. "Damn it, stay here!" he shouted angrily and rushed over in an instant. This was a good thing. He definitely couldn't let Lin Wudi take it away. Moreover, this Cheong Chi puppet was also very terrifying. Once the energy core disappeared, the Cheong Chi puppet couldn't be used. So no matter what, Long Mu couldn't allow this to happen. Chapter 54-49. Looking at Long Mu rushing over, Murong Qingsheng and the others looked as though they were facing a great enemy. This was an existence that had surpassed the Holy Scriptures. Lin Xian snorted coldly and took out the heaven-devouring jar without hesitation. A terrifying aura spread out as this attack blocked Long Mu. Long Mu was forced back as well. His face was terrible. "Kid, just you wait. I don't believe that you can control the extreme-grade weapon forever. When you run out of energy, it'll be your death." Long Mu did not attack. The extreme-grade weapon was strong, but it was the weapon of the Emperor after all. The other saints could not control it unless they used heaven-defying resources. Furthermore, they had already fought outside the tomb of the Emperor and used their extreme-grade weapons. In fact, they had even fully recovered. They did not have much energy left after this. They would not use their extreme-grade weapons easily. Once they ran out of energy, they would not be able to use their extreme-grade weapons. That would be the true disaster. Therefore, after entering, the other Emperor race beings did not use their extreme-grade weapons easily against the Cheong Chi. This was a trump card that could only be used at the most critical moment. Faced with such a threat, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not care at all. He stared at the black crystal in his hands. The others cast their gazes over as well. The eyes of many Emperor race beings turned red. This thing definitely contained an unparalleled amount of energy. When the Dragon Sea Master caught sight of it, his eyes dilated as he exclaimed, "This was an Emperor God crystal." When the other powerful beings of the Emperor race heard it, they exclaimed as well. To think that it would be such an item! Evidently, this was an ancient race that had records of this mysterious item. It contained an unparalleled amount of energy and was extremely precious. The elder of the Phoenix race gasped. This thing was incredible. It was extremely rare to come across one. The elder of the Gu race gasped as well. As expected of the means of the Emperor race, to think that he would casually create a puppet for such a precious item. The Emperor race was indeed an existence that they could only look up to. When the others heard it, they were even more envious. Lin Xian's luck was way too good, wasn't it? Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Oh, this was even more precious than he had imagined. Very well, I shall accept it then. After accepting the Emperor God crystal, Lin Xian looked at the Cheong Chi again. Its defense was extremely tough. Even with so many sacred ancestors attacking it, they were still unable to breach its defense. Obviously, it was also made of special metals and materials. Therefore, it was also a treasure. He had the Crimson Dragon put it away. He might be able to use such a powerful puppet in the future. When the others saw this, their eyes turned red, but no one dared to make a move for the time being. The Emperor clan people said that it wasn't good to clash with him right now. Even though this thing was precious, it wasn't to the point where they had to risk their lives. Only when they entered the real ancient tomb would they be able to find something good. The others nodded in agreement. Then, everyone set off again. Lin Xian and the others also set off, continuing to walk inside. After passing through the mountain range, they suddenly discovered a mountain peak. That mountain peak was incomparably majestic, as if it was formed by countless coiling dragons. Even Lin Xian was amazed by the mountain peak, Dragon Mountain. At the real location of the ancient tomb, everyone took a deep breath. They could feel the might of the great emperor here. This was the place where the earth was buried. Let's go! Lin Xian waved his hand and soared into the sky. He was going to lead his people up Dragon Mountain. The other great emperor clans and remote antiquity clans also followed after seeing this. One by one, figures rose into the air and flew forward at high speed. When they reached the 9 heavens, they saw Dragon Mountain. It was really too majestic. The mountains and rivers above were even more terrifying than the surroundings. It was like a real immortal world. This was great. These people were excited. If they stayed on Dragon Mountain, even if they didn't enter the ancient tomb to search for treasures, they would be able to advance by leaps and bounds just by cultivating here. They were wild with joy. However, at this moment, there was a loud and clear dragon roar on Dragon Mountain. Then the void around Dragon Mountain cracked open, and black figures appeared one after another. As soon as they appeared, a terrifying aura swept through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Immediately, those people were blasted away. Those who flew too fast spat out mouthfuls of blood and flew backwards. His men also stopped one after another, looking ahead in bewilderment. What was that thing? The people of the Gu clan exclaimed. Was there another puppet? The people of the Purple Mansion also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. The one who came was the Purple Mansion Lord. Xiao Ying was killed earlier, and Yao Guang was seriously injured and didn't come. Therefore, their strength had been greatly damaged, and they became very careful now. Lin Xian and the others also frowned. They felt that the situation ahead was extremely terrifying. In front of them, there were many tall figures. They wore battle armor and held ancient weapons in their hands, standing in the sky. They were expressionless. However, the dragon aura on their bodies was incomparably terrifying. Behind them, the people of the 1,000 Dragon Court also exclaimed, "What a powerful dragon aura!" Long Mu was indeed shocked. Could it be the legendary Dragon Way elite soldiers? As the tomb keeper of the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb, although Long Mu hadn't really entered the ancient tomb, she still knew some things about the ancient tomb. She knew that there was a group of even stronger guardians on Dragon Mountain. They were called the Dragon Way elite soldiers. However, she had never seen them before. Now that she saw these figures, she exclaimed. After hearing this, the others also discussed. The Dragon Way elite soldiers were obviously the Dragon Emperor's methods. The people of the Qilin race frowned. The Dragon Way elite soldiers' aura wasn't as majestic as before, but there were too many of them. They far surpassed Qiongqi. There was only one Qiongqi, but there were 49 of them in front of them. They lined up neatly in the void, and the power on their bodies seemed to be able to pierce the sky. In front of them, there was a man standing on a divine dragon. He held a divine sword in his hand and shouted coldly. This was the resting place of the Dragon Emperor. Those who trespass would be killed without mercy. After speaking, he waved the long sword in his hand, and a large crack appeared in the sky. Obviously, if one stepped over this line, they would die without a doubt. The toad exclaimed, "It can talk? Could it be a living expert?" Lin Xian used his Rinnegan and frowned. "No, it should be a puppet, but it's of a higher level." After speaking, he snorted coldly. "I want to see how you're going to kill without mercy." As he spoke, he walked forward. Did Lin Wuyi make a move? The other experts were still hesitating whether or not to make a move. However, Lin Xian had already made a move. This guy was too arrogant. They were all watching. Lin Xian took a step forward and flew forward. The middle-aged man in front of him emitted a shocking light from his eyes, turning into a bolt of lightning that was hundreds of meters long. It instantly pierced through the 9 heavens. Those who trespass would be killed without mercy. The long sword in his hand was raised high and fell down. Boom! The sword cut through heaven and earth, descending like a river of stars. Lin Xian sneered and punched out. The resplendent fist was like the sun, shining in all directions. He resisted the sword, energy head-on. Chapter 5450. The two sides started fighting in an instant. Everyone was shocked. Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ryu also let out cries of surprise and instantly charged over. The people from the Divine Union made their move. The eyes of the others flickered when they saw this. The elder of the Phoenix tribe sighed. Let's give it a try too. There was no chance for them to reap the benefits. They charged over. That was indeed the case. The Dragon Emperor had set up this way. If they could break through, they could continue. If they couldn't, they would either die or return. They couldn't let them win without a fight. Therefore, the people from the Phoenix tribe made their move. The people from the Gu family and the Z Mansion also made their move. Everyone else made their move. However, the moment they rushed up the Dragon Mountain, they were stunned. Many people were instantly torn into pieces. Damn it! How could it be so terrifying? When they saw that Lin Xian could withstand it, they thought that they could do the same. However, they didn't expect this power to far exceed theirs. It wasn't something they could handle. A Dragon Path elite soldier waved the long blade in his hand and swept it in all directions. More than 10 elites were sliced in half. Sacred blood was scattered all over the place. It was too strong. Even the people from the Monarch tribe were terrified. He was indeed the Dragon Emperor. The people he had chosen to guard the Dragon Mountain were too strong. Damn it! Did they have to use the Emperor weapon? The people from the Kuan Peng tribe gritted their teeth. The people from the Qilin tribe also frowned. They didn't act rashly. If they had to use the Emperor weapon just to enter the Dragon Mountain, there was no need for them to continue. After all, the Dragon Mountain was even more dangerous. How many times could they use the Emperor weapon? The power they had was limited. Kuan Pengzi also shouted angrily, "Don't use the Emperor weapon for now. Charge with all your might. Those who can't make it, retreat and save your lives." Lin Xian also roared, "Those from the Divine Union who couldn't resist, retreat." The people from the Divine Union were also affected. Many people's bodies were torn apart. They had no choice. Each of the 49 Dragon Path elite soldiers was extremely strong. Even the double champion might not be able to deal with them, let alone the others. What was even more frightening was the fact that these 49 Dragonway ambush weapons had formed a peerless formation when they were combined. It made their scalps go numb. This kind of array formation was really too strong. Although it wasn't as strong as the Great Emperor's array formation outside, it was still far stronger than an ordinary sage's array formation. Many people were instantly pierced by this peerless dragon head array, their bodies nailed to the void. A sea of blood spread between heaven and earth. Seeing this, the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty felt their scalps go numb. Even if they relied on their own strength, it would still be very difficult for them to pass through. Even if they managed to get through, the number of people would be greatly reduced. It would be difficult for even 1% of them to get through. Long Mu took a deep breath and pierced his heart with his dragon claw, letting the blood drip out. Then he drew the runes of the dragon race with great reverence and kowtowed 3 times and 9 times. When he spoke, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty disciples all obeyed. The other members of the Dragon Clan would have to rely on their own abilities. The Dragon Sea Clan, Lightning Dragon Clan, Wind Dragon Clan, and the others all sighed. Although they were all from the dragon race, only the 10,000 Dragons Dynasty was created by the Dragon Emperor. The other dragon races didn't have the Dragon Emperor's bloodline. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty did the same. They pierced their hearts and used their blood to cover their bodies to reduce the damage. They were the descendants of the great emperor. Although they weren't as strong as the Dragon Prince, they were still the descendants of the Dragon Emperor. Therefore, they could more or less be of some use. These people also soared into the sky and rushed over. More and more people were retreating from the front. Although they were unwilling to give up, although they were reluctant, they would probably die if they tried to attack again. After all, many of them had already died. The sea of blood spread. Those people could only grit their teeth and retreat. Most of the people from the Divine Union also retreated. Only the clan leaders of the various large sects and families, as well as the top elites, could continue forward. For example, Murong Qingcheng, Bai Susu, and the others couldn't do it. In fact, it wasn't just the Divine Union. It was the same for the Monarch Clan, Clan of the Ancients, and Dragon Clan. Most of them were blocked. A small number of people tore through the line of defense and landed on the Dragon Mountain. After they landed, they could feel the astonishing nomological power surrounding them, enveloping them. There was a large tree in front of them with many dragon-shaped fruits on it. There, they swayed and bloomed with extremely terrifying power. After the Crimson Dragon saw it, he exclaimed in surprise. This was the legendary dragon spirit fruit. His figure flashed, and he rushed over in an instant. Little White seemed to have been summoned and rushed over from the sword world. She squeaked and stepped on cotton clouds, turning into a bolt of lightning. Her speed was even faster than the Crimson Dragon's. In an instant, she was in front of them. With a wave of her little claws, she grabbed 2 dragon scale fruits. The dragon scale fruit transformed into a huge dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, trying to counterattack Little White. In the end, it was knocked unconscious by Little White's claw. Good stuff. Quickly snatch it. When the others came up, their eyes turned red. The things on the Dragon Mountain were definitely shocking treasures. The Gu clan's elder appeared and disappeared mysteriously, using his spatial ability. He immediately snatched 3. The Phoenix clan, Purple Mansion clan, and the other clans also made their moves. A great battle broke out instantly on the Divine Union's side. Bai Susu and the others also made their moves. Elder Brother Xian and Murong Qingcheng looked at Lin Xian, wondering why he didn't make a move. Yan Ryu was also surprised. She couldn't help but want to make a move. Lin Xian's lips curled up. How could he not make a move? Look, he took out the heaven-swallowing jar and charged forward. A black vortex appeared, swallowing the heavens and the earth. The surrounding people were enveloped by the vortex and instantly screamed, "Damn it, it's an extreme aura." Retreat, they frantically retreated. The Purple Mansion Master's face changed as he opened his palms. The great desolate heaven-splitting palm tore a large crack to block the attack. The Gu clan's people were the fastest. Their spatial ability was unpredictable, so they didn't dare to resist. Everyone retreated at this moment. They looked at Lin Xian in shock. Was this guy crazy? In order to snatch the dragon scale fruit, he actually used an extreme weapon. Did this guy have a lot of power in his hands? If he used it like this, what would happen next? However, in the next moment, they were dumbfounded. The Dragon Clan's people were also stunned. They realized that the heaven-swallowing jar had directly swallowed the entire dragon spirit tree. In the next moment, the ground in front of them split open. The tree with the dragon spirit fruit had already disappeared. There was only this crack left. Heavens, what did I just see? He took the entire tree away. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. One had to know that they had only managed to snatch a few dragon spirit fruits. Now that someone had made a move, the entire tree was gone. At the back, the 1,000 Dragon Dynasty's people were roaring in anger. Damn Lin Wudi, don't be too arrogant. The Gu clans and the Purple Mansion clan's people were also furious. They handed over the dragon spirit tree. They walked over one after another, filled with killing intent. Lin Xian was really too domineering. Chapter 54-51. Lin Xian's actions made even Morong Qingcheng and the others dizzy. It was indeed too domineering. Whitey clapped her little paws and laughed. I like it. The toad also jumped up. Well done. Give me more later. The other experts were indeed enraged, and they were all furious. Lin Wudi, hand over the dragon spirit tree. You want to take it all for yourself? Too arrogant. Do you really think we don't exist? Lin Xian didn't care at all. He looked at these people and took a step forward, as if he wanted to die. If you don't want to die, get lost. If you provoke me, I'll use an extreme weapon to suppress you. He shook the heaven-swallowing jar in his hand and waved. Let's go. Just like that, the group swaggered away. The surrounding people vomited blood, but no one dared to make a move. Zifu gritted his teeth. Let's go. Let's enter the Dragon Mountain first. The people of the Qilin race also said, forget it. They would definitely teach him a lesson next time. Behind them, Long Mu and the others vomited blood. This was a tree planted by the Dragon Emperor. Just like that, it was taken away by someone? Damn it. They gritted their teeth and swore that when they found the Supreme Array, they would use the Array's power to kill it. Lin Xian and the others took the lead again. Lin Xian quickly planted the dragon scale fruit in the sword world. He was overjoyed. This tree had indeed grown for tens of thousands of years. The power on it was too strong. Although it wasn't an immortal god tree, it was far stronger than an ordinary king herb. It was right to come to the Dragon Emperor's tomb. Lin Xian smiled. He was different from the others. The others only wanted the best treasures, so they cherished using extreme weapons. But Lin Xian was different. Lin Xian wanted power. He wouldn't let go of anyone he passed by. Therefore, once he took a fancy to something, he would take it with lightning speed. He wouldn't leave it for those people. The legendary Dragon Emperor's tomb was in the Dragon Mountain. Where was it? These people began to search. The people of the 10,000 Dragons Court were also searching. At this moment, the blood on their hearts dripped down again. They quickly flew above the ground. Then, in front of him, the Dragon Mountain shook and an entrance appeared. It was an ancient cave. When he appeared, it was as if the world had been created. 10,000 dragons roared, and the entire Dragon Mountain shook violently. The surrounding great Tao interweaved and swept in all directions. At this moment, everyone's blood was boiling. Quickly block it. At that moment, the people from the imperial clans had no choice but to unleash enormous power to resist. Those who did not have extreme weapons were forced to kneel on the ground by this force, facing the front, prostrating and prostrating. It couldn't be helped. This was the might of a great emperor. It wasn't shameful for them to kneel to a great emperor. On Lin Xian's side, he naturally had an extreme Tao weapon to block this power. They were also shocked. This was the entrance to the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. After entering, they would enter the true tomb of the great sovereign. How could they not be excited? The great emperor stood at the pinnacle of the myriad worlds, sweeping through all directions and crushing the universe. What kind of treasures would they find in the other party's tomb? Great, the tomb of the Dragon Emperor has been opened. Long Mu and the others were so excited that they were about to cry. On the other hand, the people of the Gu family were delighted. The two elders sneered. Good opportunity. Charge. Here what mattered was speed. The treasures that they saw first, they had to snatch them first. The two of them used their void divine abilities and rushed forward. Their speed was very fast, and they arrived in front in an instant. However, in the next moment, an extremely terrifying message erupted from the cave of the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. It directly sent the two of them flying. The two elders' bodies were shattered, and they vomited large mouthfuls of blood. They were seriously injured. Damn it, how could this be? These two elders had gone crazy. Their spatial divine abilities could teleport and shuttle at will. Now, they were actually blocked. When the Qilin son saw this scene, he sneered. How stupid. You guys are also from the Great Emperor's family. Don't you know the methods of the Great Emperor? Just like that, it was too ridiculous to want to enter. Damn it. The Gu family's elders were furious. You dare to look down on us? If you have the ability, go and open it. The Qilin son snorted coldly. All right, just watch. As he said that, he walked out and took a deep breath. A trace of piercing cold light burst out from his eyes. As a member of the Great Emperor's family and the son of the Great Emperor, he naturally knew that the ancient tomb of the Great Emperor was very mysterious. Even if they found the entrance, they might not be able to walk in. However, there was another benefit to being the first person to enter. One had to know that since the Great Emperor's ancient tomb was buried, no one would enter it for tens of thousands of years. There was too strong an aura inside. After that aura was inhaled, it would definitely enter the body of the first person. It could even cause that person's physique to undergo a tremendous change. Therefore, after seeing it, the Qilin son was eager to be the first to enter. He roared at the sky and transformed into his Qilin true form. Stepping on 10,000 flames, he rushed forward. As soon as he appeared, the surrounding people exclaimed. It was so terrifying. The Qilin son's strength had become stronger than before. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. As expected of the emperor's son, his strength increased every day. He was indeed much stronger than when he was at the Dragon Transformation Station. However, he was still no match for him. However, Lin Xian was puzzled. The Qilin son had always been cold and calculative. Why did he want to take the lead this time? Just as he was thinking, an earth-shattering sound came from the front. With a series of rumbles, the entire dragon mountain shook violently. The Qilin son was knocked back, and many of the flames on his body were extinguished. He gritted his teeth and roared crazily. Damn it, he couldn't enter. Qilin technique. Qilin trampling the sky. She took 7 steps in a row, and each step shattered the world. This was an extremely powerful force, a peerless divine ability of the Great Emperor's ultimate technique. This time, the entrance of the cave also shook violently. However, it did not shatter. Instead, it erupted with an even more terrifying aura. He forced the Qilin son to retreat. The Qilin son retreated and vomited blood. His face turned pale. Your Highness, the elders of the Fire Qilin clan also became nervous. Damn it, I don't believe it. Qilin arm. The Qilin son roared angrily. He transformed into his human form, and a Qilin tattoo appeared on his left hand. It was very ancient. It was an immemorial Qilin. He roared at the sky, and his arm bloomed with endless light. It was as if it had transformed into the arm of an ancient god. He threw a punch. This punch emitted a mysterious and unfathomable aura. Wherever it passed, heaven and earth shattered. It was enough to sweep through everything. When it hit the cave erupted with a shocking light. The light screen above shook violently, as if it would shatter at any moment. However, in the end, it was still intact. Instead, the Qilin arm shook violently. The Qilin son took 3 steps back. His face was pale. How could this be? The cave was right in front of him, but it made him feel despair. The others were shocked. No way. Even the Qilin son did not succeed. Could it be that he was going to return empty-handed this time? Chapter 54-52. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. They didn't expect the Qilin son to be so powerful that even he couldn't enter. The others were even more hopeless. The elder of the Gu family sneered. You were so arrogant before. I thought you could enter. The Qilin son was so angry that he vomited blood. He gritted his teeth. He didn't attack because the situation here was indeed beyond his expectations. He didn't expect that he couldn't enter. He could only retreat angrily. I'll do it. The Purple Mansion Lord personally attacked. Purple energy surged into the sky from her body, scattering all the clouds in the sky. Then she formed a huge purple palm print, and 9 huge palm prints rushed into the sky. Each of them was incomparably terrifying as they imprinted themselves in the air. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Cracks spread out in all directions. They hit the cave abode. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. This woman was too annoying. Her strength was terrifying, especially the peerless technique that she used. It was probably a lost technique from 50,000 years ago, but it was so powerful in her hands. However, no matter how powerful it was, it couldn't open it. The Purple Mansion Lord also gritted his teeth and left. Next, the elders of the Phoenix clan and the Kunpin clan also attacked. Some people even joined forces to attack, but they found that it was useless. They were all in despair. Heavens, could it be that they had no other choice? They all looked at the 10,000 Dragon Court. However, the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court weren't confident either. They all looked at Long Mu. As the Tomb Keeper, Long Mu said, "I'm the Tomb Keeper. I can't be the first to enter. Otherwise, I'll instantly turn into ashes." F***CK. Everyone was in despair. Long Mu could be said to be the strongest one. He had 1 foot in the Saint Realm, and he was the most likely to open it. However, due to his identity, he couldn't attack. The people of the Purple Mansion gritted their teeth. It seemed that they could only use extreme weapons. The Fire Qilin also prepared to attack. They all wanted to be the first to enter. However, Long Mu snorted coldly. "I advise you not to do that. This is the place where the Dragon Emperor is buried. And we also brought the 10,000 Dragon Diagram. If you dare to use an extreme weapon, I can't guarantee what will happen to the 10,000 Dragon Diagram. Because this was where its master was." He was right. Would the 10,000 Dragon Diagram attack in the Dragon Emperor's tomb? Would it awaken? No one knew. Damn it. The Fire Qilin and the others also gnashed their teeth. They didn't dare to take this risk once the 10,000 Dragons Diagram was awakened. Even if they had other extreme weapons, they would still be able to use them. It seemed that it could only be a supreme treasure. If another great emperor's corpse appeared, no one would be able to stop it. It was better for everyone not to use it. The people from the Kunpin clan spoke. The other monarch clans also nodded. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and asked, "Why are these people fighting to be the first to enter?" One had to know that he had always been the one leading the way. The surrounding people had all followed behind him to reap the benefits. Now, these people were acting abnormally. The elder of the Phoenix race said through voice transmission, "Don't you know Lin Gongzi? The first one to enter the tomb of the great emperor would obtain a special power. The power came from the ancient tomb, so these people wanted to be the first to enter." Lin Xian was stunned when he heard this. In the next moment, his eyes lit up. So it was like this. Was it the mysterious power of the ancient tomb? Very well, I'll take it. He came this time to look for power. Now that there was such an opportunity, how could he miss it? So he said, "If you can't do it, I'll do it." Was Lin Woody going to make a move? Many of the clan of the ancients took a deep breath. Some of them were even excited. However, the Qilin clan, Zifu, and the others looked cold. They snorted coldly. They were really unhappy that the other party was in the limelight. Moreover, if the other party was the first to enter, he would definitely be able to obtain that power. So they gritted their teeth. But there was no other way. They couldn't open the supreme weapon now, and they couldn't use it easily. If they wanted to enter, they would have to rely on the other party. Let's see if this kid can open it. If he can, we'll go in. If he can't, it seems that they have to use the supreme weapon. The other monarch clans also sighed. Indeed, although using the supreme weapon here might anger the Dragon Emperor's corpse, if they really had no other choice, they could only fight with their backs against the wall. Everyone's gaze turned to Lin Xian as they became nervous. They didn't know if Lin Xian could succeed. Lin Xian was the first in the dragon transformation battle. He was extremely terrifying. His strength had increased in the past 5 years. He had killed Xiaoying. He had severely injured Yao Guang. Yao Guang was still seriously injured and couldn't come here, so everyone was still looking forward to seeing him. Behind them, the people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty gritted their teeth. Long Mu also snorted coldly. "Kid, you're not qualified. Go back." Anyone could open it, but he didn't want Lin Xian to be the first to enter. Lin Xian sneered. "I'm not qualified. If I'm not qualified, then you're not qualified to stand here. Today, I'm going to open the Dragon Emperor's tomb. No one can stop me." His voice was extremely firm, and each of his words was like thunder, echoing in all directions. At the same time, he took a step forward, and the flames on his body turned into a sun. Then he charged forward. Boom! He slammed into it, and there was an intense explosion, but it didn't shatter. Lin Xian took a step forward, and the power of his divine body erupted. His fist was like a giant dragon. As it slammed into it, an even more intense sound rang out. In Dragon Mountain, people couldn't stand steadily. Roar. At this moment, a low roar came from the cave. Then, Dragon Chi soared into the sky, and the terrifying power of the Tao of Dragons erupted. The entire Dragon Mountain seemed to have turned into a giant dragon, and it was roaring and shaking. It seemed to want to blast everyone away. The others were shocked. They soared into the air and began to defend. At the same time, they were shocked. How could such a change happen to Dragon Mountain? Damn it, what did Lin Wuti do? One punch had caused such a shock. One had to know that so many people were fine when they attacked. But when Lin Xian attacked, there was a crisis. All of them were likely to be sent flying. A voice appeared in front of them, and it turned into a great Tao that directly suppressed Lin Xian. It wanted to tear his body apart. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body rumbled under the impact. He roared angrily, and then he formed a seal with his palm. The light of the demon god. With him as the center, endless light erupted, illuminating all directions. It collided with these sounds. At the same time, a terrifying dragon roar erupted from his body. The two sounds collided, and the sky fell, and the earth cracked. It was enough to shatter everything. Lin Xian knew how terrifying the cave ahead was. He didn't hesitate at all. Dragon scales appeared on his body, and he transformed into a dragon. A dragon shadow appeared. Lin Xian bared his fangs and brandished his claws as he charged forward. His dragon claws danced in the sky. Every strike was imbued with unstoppable power. Chapter 54-53. The two collided. The battle was too intense, causing the scalps of the surrounding people to tingle. They couldn't help but retreat. "I wonder if Lin Wuti can break it?" Kun Pingzi frowned. On the one hand, they were eager to enter, and on the other hand, they didn't want Lin Xian to become stronger. So they were very conflicted. In the cave ahead, another roar came. It seemed to have turned into a giant dragon and rushed over. The sound dragon directly pushed Lin Xian back. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "You want to stop me?" It was impossible. He roared to the sky. At this moment, Lin Xian finally took out the great dragon sword soul. He transformed into his human form, and the great dragon sword soul appeared between heaven and earth. Feeling this invincible power, the surrounding people trembled. The offensive saint techniques between heaven and earth were not weaker than the existence of extreme weapons. Lin Xian held the great dragon sword soul with both hands, roared to the sky, and destroyed everything. At the same time, he exerted his power to the extreme. The sword world opened, and endless power surged out. Then he slashed forward. The sound dragon was immediately split into two halves by the sword. Not only that, The entire cave was also enveloped by this sword, emitting a violent rumbling sound. Endless sword chi erupted in front of them, and the surrounding people all closed their eyes. They all retreated. The sound of the dragon throat sword kept ringing. What was going on? After a long time, they slowly opened their eyes. In the next moment, they found that the bulging barrier between the caves had been broken. Lin Xian stood there like a demon god. His figure was incomparably tall and straight. The great dragon's sword soul slowly disappeared and entered his body. Good opportunity. An elder of the Gu family was overjoyed when he saw this scene. He formed a seal with his hands, used space, and disappeared in an instant. He was teleported into the cave. Whoever entered first would be able to obtain a great fortune. He didn't want to miss it. Damn it, what are you doing? On the other side, the Crimson Dragon and the others roared crazily. Lin Xian also frowned. He wanted to make a move. However, at this moment, the light of the law came from the front, directly piercing through the elder of the Gu family. The soul of the Gu family's elder was destroyed. His body turned into law fragments and fell to the ground. Both his body and soul were destroyed. When the others saw this scene, their scalps went numb. Some of the people who wanted to scheme against him also stopped. Their faces turned ugly. What was going on with the great ancestor? The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also frowned. Long Mu harumphed coldly. This is the mausoleum of the great sovereign. How can we imagine his methods? He was the only one who could enter the barrier that Lin Wudi had opened. If he didn't go in, no one would be able to. The Gu family wanted to take advantage of the situation. They were really stupid. Hearing this, the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty sighed. At the same time, they understood why Lord Long Mu hadn't attacked. So there was such a rule. The others also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. No one dared to move. All eyes were on Lin Xian. However, what made them frown was that Lin Xian didn't move at all. When Lin Xian heard this news, the corners of his mouth curled up. Originally, he also wanted to be the first to rush in, afraid that others would snatch his fortune. But now he wasn't in a hurry. As long as he didn't go in, no one else would dare to. He took out the heaven-swallowing jar and floated around. Lin Xian sat down cross-legged and began to swallow pills to recover his strength. Because of the powerful attack of the great dragon sword, it had consumed a lot of energy. Therefore, he had to replenish his strength to recover to his peak. Just like that, everyone waited for a day. A day later, Lin Xian stood up and walked forward. Everyone was looking forward to it. What kind of fortune would Lin Xian obtain? Many people's eyes were red. This kid was too lucky. In the extreme path world, he obtained the fortune left behind by the great sovereign. Until now, they still didn't know what it was. Now, was he going to obtain the power left behind by the Dragon Emperor? Lin Xian was also facing a great enemy. Although he said so, he still felt a little guilty. He must have killed the Dragon Prince and slapped the Dragon Emperor's face 90,000 years ago. He didn't know if the Dragon Emperor had any traps or tricks. Therefore, he was always on guard. Dragon-shaped sword chi surrounded his body, forming an indestructible power. As long as the situation was not right, he would attack at all costs. Lin Xian walked towards the cave abode in front. When he took a step into the cave abode, Lin Xian felt a primitive power enveloping him. This power carried an extremely strong great sovereign aura and was abnormally real. It made Lin Xian feel that his body was about to be crushed. What a terrifying pressure. Cold sweat flowed down his forehead. This was the ancient tomb of a great sovereign. It was too powerful. At the same time, he felt a surge of dragon chi surging over like a sea and instantly enveloping him. F***CK. Lin Xian shouted angrily. The situation of being the first to enter was not so easy to bear. This power was like clouds and sea. Once he couldn't bear it, his body would be torn to pieces. He was prepared to use the heaven-devouring jar to devour and slowly absorb it. However, at this moment, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared and rushed over. It absorbed all of the aura of the dragons around it, which was as vast as the sea. Lin Xian was stunned after seeing this. Why did the great dragon sword soul come out by itself? What shocked him even more was that the great dragon sword soul was actually absorbing this power. He narrowed his eyes, but he didn't stop it. The stronger the great dragon sword soul was, the more benefits it would have for him. After the great dragon sword soul absorbed the power of the Tao of Dragons, its body swayed and once again entered Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian carefully checked and found that the great dragon sword soul had become mysterious and unfathomable. There was a strong aura on it. Although he didn't absorb it, Lin Xian was incomparably happy. It seemed like he had made the right choice to be the first to enter. Lin Xian had a feeling that the great dragon sword soul might have a new breakthrough in the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. Qing Cheng, Rizalong, you guys can come in now. Lin Xian stood at the entrance of the cave and waved his hand. The Crimson Dragon and the rest were delighted when they heard this. Let's go. Morong, Qing Cheng, and the rest waved their hands and quickly walked forward. After the people from the Divine Union entered, the other emperor race and remote ancient family members also moved. Let's go in too. After entering, these people were astonished. What a terrifying power. This is the might of an emperor lord. I feel like my body is about to break. These people were extremely frightened. Indeed, some of the weaker ones instantly had cracks appear on their bodies. Damn it, some people gritted their teeth. They couldn't withstand the power here and could only retreat. These people were indignant. They were about to cry. Although the others could still move forward, they were still facing a great enemy. The aura inside was extremely terrifying. Many Emperor race members released a trace of extreme Tao aura to defend themselves. This was also a form of exhaustion for them. They didn't know how long they could last. Chapter 5454. The people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty had also entered. This was the tomb of their ancestor, the Dragon Emperor. It was indeed powerful. The pressure made them feel as if they were facing a great enemy, but they were also happy. If they could cultivate here for a year, their physiques would undergo earth-shaking changes. Of course, they didn't stop now. They continued to move forward. They also wanted to see what treasures the ancestor had left behind. They walked carefully along the way, as if they were facing a great enemy. Finally, after passing through the passage, they found the first hall. There were flickering flames in front of them. They didn't know what the lamp oil was made of, but it seemed to be even more ancient. This kind of flame hung around the hall, just like the longevity lamp. It was abnormally mysterious. However, although there was light, it wasn't very bright. There were some dark corners in the hall that couldn't be illuminated at all. Everyone felt a mysterious and strange aura. Standing in the hall, they looked around curiously. The hall was abnormally majestic, far surpassing any building they had seen before. Many people began to use their soul power to check if there were any treasures here. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew past, blowing on everyone's souls. Many people's souls seemed to have been scratched by sharp claws, and they cried out in pain. They quickly withdrew their souls. What a terrifying wind. It was too scary. In the ancient tomb of the earth, a gust of wind could hurt their souls. Lin Xian also frowned. He didn't release his soul. He had the Rinnegan. So, at this moment, he was using his eye technique to check. However, that gust of wind just now had shaken his soul. What a terrifying power. Suddenly, his pupils shrank because he seemed to have found a figure in the shadows in front of him. The person was hidden in the darkness, and even the mysterious lamp couldn't find him. Qing Cheng, you guys be careful. There's someone in front, but I don't know who it is. Lin Xian told them what he saw. Murong, Ching and the others also exclaimed after hearing it. They looked at the dark corner in front of them. With their current souls, they couldn't detect it at all. However, they believed that Lin Xian's Rinnegan was very terrifying. The others also didn't see it. After the initial caution, they began to move. They walked around. Among them, the 3 sacred ancestors of the Golden Crow tribe joined hands and began to move forward. Terrifying golden crow fire burned on their bodies as if they had turned into suns. They prepared to illuminate the surroundings. Lin Xian sneered when he saw this. He did not move forward. Instead, he led the members of the Divine Union back a little, as he realized that the 3 Golden Crow divine ancestors were walking towards the Black Shadow. The Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb was such a terrifying place, yet there was a black shadow. Just how terrifying was this black shadow? Lin Xian didn't dare to know either. He knew that the 3 Golden Crow sacred lords were in trouble. The 3 Golden Crow sacred masters sneered when they saw a black shadow in front of them. He walked over with flames in his hand. In the next moment, the flame entered the darkness and suddenly disappeared from the corner. The 3 saint sovereigns frowned. What was going on? Just as they were about to investigate, suddenly another gust of wind blew past, and the darkness seemed to sway. They could faintly see a figure sitting cross-legged there. In the next moment, the figure opened his eyes. With a loud boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The 3 divine ancestors were sent flying, their bodies shattered. The rest of the people were also shaken to the point that their blood was boiling. They looked ahead in bewilderment. Then they saw a shocking scene. In the next moment, everyone stopped, their hair standing on end. The members of the Divine Union also took a deep breath. This was too terrifying. Fortunately, Lin Xian had warned them beforehand. Otherwise, they would have been seriously injured. The 3 Golden Crow tribe's divine ancestors had been seriously injured by this gaze. The 3 elders were terrified. The other members of the Golden Crow tribe were even more terrified. What exactly had happened? The people of the Kunpeng tribe asked. What did you do? The people of the Qilin tribe also sneered. What did you do? The 3 Golden Crow tribe's divine ancestors were about to cry. What had they done? They had seen a dark area in front of them, so they had shot out a ray of light. That was all. Who would have thought that there would be a figure there? They said in horror. There was someone in front. There was someone? What exactly was going on? The people of the Gu family also walked out. The people of the Purple Mansion also turned their heads to look. The elder of the Golden Crow tribe said, "There is a dark area in front of us. There is a person sitting cross-legged there. We wanted to illuminate that area. In the end, we had just shot out a ball of flame when the black figure opened his eyes. His gaze had seriously injured the 3 of us." What? Upon hearing this, the surrounding people went crazy. There was actually someone in the main hall. This was too unbelievable. They had not detected anything at all. Who could the person in the ancient tomb be? Could it be the Dragon Emperor? However, the people of the Gu family shook their heads. It was impossible. If it was the Dragon Emperor, how could the 3 of them still be alive? They reckoned that all of them would have died. It should not be the Dragon Emperor. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. It should be the same as the Qiong Qi and the Dragon Dao elite soldier. It should be a puppet or a guardian. However, this was too terrifying. One had to know that these 3 Golden Crow sacred masters were all older generation figures. Among the divine ancestors they had cultivated for thousands of years. Their strength was extremely terrifying, but now he was severely injured by a single gaze. What kind of gaze was this? Their scalps went numb. They all looked ahead and discovered that there was indeed a patch of darkness ahead. Occasionally, the wind would blow and the darkness would sway. Only then could the figure be seen. Why don't we ignore him? Since the hall is so big, we can search in other places. A top prodigy of the Wind clan suggested. The chief of the Purple Mansion frowned. No, didn't they notice? The place where he was standing was the passageway to continue walking. If you don't want to continue, you can just ignore her. But if you want to go further inside, you have to go past him. The others looked at it seriously and found that the Purple Mansion's mansion master was right. As he spoke, he turned his head and looked around as if he was searching for something. Suddenly, he frowned when he saw Lin Xian and the others. He said coldly, "Lin Wuyi, you already knew, didn't you? Otherwise, why would you hide so far away?" As soon as this was said, the others were also surprised. Lin Wuyi already knew? That was impossible, right? They all turned their heads. The 3 rat ancestors of the Golden Crow clan also roared, "Despicable brat! How dare you not warn us?" Lin Xian sneered. "Are you out of your mind? Who do you think you are? Why should I warn you?" Chapter 54-55. After the Golden Crow race's divine ancestor heard this, he was so angry that he vomited blood. However, Lin Wuyi's performance was too strong. In addition, they were injured and didn't dare to attack. At this moment, Kuan Pengzi of the Kuan Peng race walked up. He said, "Lin Gongzi, I don't know what clues you have. This ancient tomb is so terrifying. I think we should work together." The people from the Qilin family also looked over because they had no other choice. Lin Xian looked at them and then shook his head. "Previously, I only saw a figure there and felt that it was strange, so I didn't dare to act rashly. As for what this figure is, I don't know. I think they should know." With that, Lin Xian looked at the people from the Thousand Dragon Court. The others all looked over as well. "Fellow Taoists of the Thousand Dragon Court, tell us your clues. You came in, which means that you want the treasures inside. But with your strength, you shouldn't be able to take it all." The Emperor race members spoke one after another. The people from the Thousand Dragon Court also had ugly expressions. Long Mu snorted coldly. He said that the people in the Dragon Emperor's tomb are all from the dragon race. They should be ancient seniors. But which one is this? I don't know yet, unless I can test his other powers. The people from the Thunder Dragon race also walked out. This was the Thunder Dragon race's patriarch. Just now, when the Golden Crow race was injured, I felt a trace of lightning aura. It should be related to our Thunder Dragon race. Perhaps it's an ancient ancestor of our dragon race. Everyone discussed one after another. So far, this was the only result they got. They had no choice. Next, they were prepared to try again. These people used laws to condense a few incarnations and flew forward. They were prepared to test if it was a powerhouse of the Thunder Dragon race. The law incarnations arrived in front of the black figure, and a bright light erupted from their bodies. Then they walked into the darkness. In an instant, the figure waved his hand, and a terrifying lightning power flew out. Instantly, heaven and earth collapsed. The 5 law incarnations were instantly shattered. The others also exclaimed in surprise. It was indeed lightning, and it should be from the Thunder Dragon race. Great, they finally found another clue. Next, they were prepared to find a way to solve it. However, at that moment, the black silhouette that was sitting cross-legged moved. Its body soared into the sky and floated out. He floated in the air. Then, endless lightning exploded from his body and spread out in all directions. The entire hall was completely covered by a sea of lightning. Not good, quickly defend. The surrounding people quickly defended, but there were still many people. Cracks appeared on their bodies. The power of the lightning was too terrifying. How could it be so terrifying? Phoenix Clan's people exclaimed. "This is a domain. This is a lightning domain. Everyone must be careful." They summoned their phoenixes to defend themselves. The body of the tribe leader of the Lightning Dragon tribe started to tremble. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed continuously. Everyone was stunned by this scene. Even the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were stunned. Could it be that the other party recognized him? Longmu also frowned and asked, Thunder Dragon clan leader? Could it be? That's right. It's what use. This is the Nirvana Thunder Dragon, a supreme expert of our Thunder Dragon clan. Nirvana Thunder Dragon. Hearing those words, many people from the imperial clans sucked in a breath of cold air. They came to their senses one after another. This was an extremely terrifying expert from the Dragon clan. Moreover, it was a lightning Dao expert. He cultivated the divine lightning of Nirvana and had the power to destroy everything. Such an expert was hard to come by in tens of thousands of years. They didn't expect that there would be a dragon in the Dragon Emperor tomb. Moreover, the other party was guarding the first hall. They had just entered. How terrifying was this dragon coffin ancient tomb? As expected, Lord Longmu's face was also solemn. The dragon was a terrifying existence in the dragon race. If the other party was guarding here, it wouldn't be easy to pass. I didn't expect someone to recognize me. You're from the Thunder Dragon race, right? I can even sense the aura of many dragons and the Dragon Emperor race. However, I can't sense the aura of the Dragon Prince. Since the Dragon Prince isn't here, you all have to be punished. After saying that, he waved his sleeve, and the surrounding lightning became even more terrifying. The lightning that filled the sky swept in all directions. Many people's bodies were pierced through, and they vomited blood. The people of the 1,000 Dragon Dynasty wanted to say something, but it was too late. After so many years, this dragon was definitely not a living expert. It should be some kind of puppet-like existence. This was the Dragon Emperor's method. They couldn't explain it at all. They could either block it or retreat. Everyone, let's attack. The Qilin Sun said loudly, Didn't we come here to find the treasure? Although it's a dragon, so what? The tomb of the Great Emperor is definitely incomparably difficult. I think everyone is mentally prepared for this. So now it's time for us to join forces. Zifu also said, That's right. I heard that the dragon has endless lightning. It's the supreme lightning path. Once cultivated to the extreme, a lightning pool will be opened in the body. This is a supreme power. If we defeat it, we might be able to obtain the power of the lightning pool. The other monarch races also accepted the challenge. They prepared to join forces to fight against it. The people of the 1,000 Dragon Dynasty also took a deep breath. They were going to attack. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Lightning pool? He looked at the Crimson Dragon and asked, Do you know? The Crimson Dragon nodded. It's very useful for you. Lin Xian's lips curled up. Got it. Then let's fight for the lightning pool. You want my lightning pool? How naive. Since that's the case, have a taste of my lightning dragon annihilation. Then he formed a seal with his palms. In the lightning field, endless lightning turned into a lightning dragon. It roared into the sky and struck out a terrifying lightning pool. Many people were sent flying. Some of them even had their astral souls destroyed. This was too scary. Join forces? The people of the monarch races shouted. The people of the Gu family created a crack in space and sent all the lightning into the starry sky. The power of the ancient race, the yin-yang energy of the Kuan-Peng race, the flames of the Qilin race, and the mystique of the Phoenix race. The Divine Union also attacked. A huge battle broke out instantly. However, the dragon annihilation was too strong. Just the lightning prison alone was enough to make everyone feel like they were facing a great enemy. Right now, no one could challenge the dragon annihilation. I'll do it! The Qilin Sun shouted. He used the Qilin arm and tore through the lightning sea and attacked the dragon annihilation. However, the dragon annihilation blocked the Qilin arm with a single hand. Then it forced the Qilin Sun back. The Qilin Sun's blood boiled. He shouted and used the Qilin art to fight against the dragon annihilation. On the other side, the purple mansion master rushed over, as well. Her beautiful face was unusually cold. She took out a bottle of purple longsword, extreme purple sword technique. With a furious roar, she unleashed an ancient sword technique that had been lost for generations. Chapter 54-56. Elder Yi Kai of the Yi family also made a move. As if he had transformed into a god of war, his powerful combat strength swept through all the lightning. He charged over and fought in close combat with the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana. The Thunder Dragon of Nirvana sent out a palm. The sound of the sky shaking made the world shake. Everyone's expression changed. It was too terrifying. Even the 5 Emperor clan experts working together couldn't do anything to the other party. Lin Xian flipped his hand and directly took out the heaven-swallowing jar. He created a black vortex and began to devour the Thunder Prison. Lin Xian wouldn't let go of any power. This Thunder Dominion had an incomparably violent power. Lin Xian naturally wouldn't let it go. When they saw the appearance of the extreme weapon, everyone's scalp went numb. Was this Lin Wudy crazy? From the beginning to the end, he had always taken out extreme weapons. However, what surprised them was that Lin Xian didn't use extreme weapons to attack the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana. Instead, he directly absorbed the power of the Thunder Prison. The sea of lightning that filled the sky was swallowed by the black vortex. The pressure on everyone also decreased and even disappeared. They all heaved a sigh of relief. This guy was devouring power everywhere. Was he lacking power? Who could be so poor to this extent? The other party wasn't a thunder element expert. What was the use of such destructive power? Even a Thunderpath Holy Lord wouldn't dare to easily absorb the thunder of Nirvana. They couldn't understand. And the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana in front seemed to be challenged. She felt the power of the extreme weapon. She immediately snorted coldly. In the next moment, she opened her eyes. A bolt of Nirvana lightning tore through the 9 heavens. Everyone was sent flying. The Gu family's elder used void magic to dodge this attack. His face was pale. Qilin's son spat out blood and flew back. Cracks appeared on his body. Mansion Master Z also flew out. Blood dripped from his arm. Elder Yi Kai and the others of the Yi family were all injured. At this moment, everyone was injured by this gaze. Damn it, what kind of eyes were these? It was too terrifying. Bai Susu's mouth was bleeding. Yan Ruyu and the others were also pale. The Crimson Dragon exclaimed. The legendary Nirvana Thunder Dragon's peerless magic, the Eye of Nirvana. With a glance, heaven and earth shattered. He even had such a peerless divine ability. The surrounding people were stunned. The 3 divine ancestors of the Golden Crow tribe now knew why they had been injured. It wasn't that they were weak and couldn't withstand a single glance. This gaze was too terrifying. Legend has it that in the past, there was once a great battle between a Nirvana, lightning dragon, and others. With a single glance, 5 worlds were directly shattered, vanishing into thin air. That level of strength was absolutely terrifying. Who would be able to block the Eye of Nirvana when the Nirvana Thunder Dragon used it? Damn it, many people gritted their teeth and looked over. The Qilin child stared at Lin Xian. Damn you, Lin Wudy, who allowed you to use an extreme weapon? Headmaster Z also shouted angrily. Put away your supreme weapon. You'll completely enrage him. Hearing this, Lin Xian glanced at them and laughed coldly. Anger? How laughable. He's a tomb keeper. Do you think he'll let you pass if you don't anger him? Only by defeating him would they be able to pass. As for whether he was angered or not, what difference did it make? With that, Lin Xian ignored these people and looked ahead. You are the Nirvana Lightning Dragon? The guardian of the first hall? I'll give you a chance. Hand over the lightning lock on you, and I won't attack you. The people around went crazy when they heard this. The headmaster Z's eyes were about to pop out. The Cheelan son was also stunned, and the people of the Gu family were even more dumbfounded. How terrifying was the Nirvana lightning dragon? Lin Xian actually dared to say such words and even acted like he was merciful? He was going to let him go. The lightning dragon race chief roared. "Damn you, Lin Wudi! You dare to be disrespectful to our old ancestor? Do you want to die?" He was filled with killing intent. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty all had dark and sunken expressions. How can you fight against the Tombkeeper chosen by the Dragon Emperor? Lin Xian scoffed coldly and stared at Long Mu. "Aren't you a Tombkeeper too? Didn't you fight against me and get injured by me? Why can't I fight against you?" Moreover, he couldn't have lived for so many years. He was already dead and was just a puppet. He blocked my path, so he is my enemy. I will never show mercy to my enemies. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. There were still some words he didn't say. So what if he was a Tombkeeper? 90,000 years ago, he even dared to slap the Dragon Emperor's face, let alone now. He was really too arrogant. Everyone looked at Lin Xian, dumbfounded. They didn't know what to say. This was his territory. Weren't you afraid that he would use a supreme move to destroy you? The Nirvana lightning dragon also turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. He said coldly, "Are you challenging me? You will accept my punishment, the punishment of destroying the world." A sharp light shone in his eyes. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. "That's right. I am challenging you. I heard that you have the Nirvana eye, right? Coincidentally, I also have the Rinnegan eye. Between the two of us, I wonder which one of us has better eyes." Lin Xian's right eye shone with a cold light. The aura of reincarnation erupted and swept in all directions. At this moment, the world formed the 6 paths of reincarnation, as if it could reincarnate everything. Feeling this aura, the other people's scalps went numb. They admitted that Lin Wudi was too strong and seemed to have the qualifications to challenge him. The light of reincarnation in his eyes charged forward. The Nirvana lightning dragon was also surprised. The power of reincarnation? It was really surprising. He also struck out the light of Nirvana. Suddenly, a terrifying aura erupted. The two collided, and the sky fell, and the earth cracked. That power made everyone's scalps go numb. The eyes of these two people were really too terrifying. Both of them had super powerful eye techniques. One had the mysterious aura of reincarnation, and the other had the aura of destruction. I wonder who's stronger? Patriarch Ling Long gritted his teeth and said, "Of course, our ancestor was stronger. Once the Nirvana eye came out, no one could resist it. The 1,000 Dragons Imperial Court also thought so. They desperately hoped that the Nirvana lightning dragon could kill Lin Xian. However, after one strike, the two gazes disappeared together. They seemed to be evenly matched. Everyone was shocked. Lin Wudi's eyes were already powerful to such an extent. Could he contend with the Nirvana lightning dragon? You're just SOO. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said proudly. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. The patriarch of the Thunder Dragon tribe was completely furious. "Damn it, hurry up and apologize to our ancestor. Kneel down and kowtow." Lin Xian turned his head, and a biting cold killing intent erupted from his eyes. "Do you want to die?" With a wave of his hand, it turned into a demonic seal and directly charged towards the patriarch of the Thunder Dragon tribe. The patriarch of the Thunder Dragon tribe was shocked, but in the next moment, he was furious. He was the dignified patriarch of the Thunder Dragon tribe, and the other party dared to attack him? You're courting death. He clasped his hands together and turned them into a thunder blade, slashing forward. Chapter 54-57. The demonic god's seal collided with the opponent's thunder blade, producing an earth-shattering sound. The patriarch of the Thunder Dragon clan was forced to retreat. The thunder blade in his hand shattered, and his hands trembled. Damn it. The opponent was so strong. As the patriarch of the clan, he couldn't do anything to the opponent. At this moment, his pupils constricted. You're courting death. He punched out again, because Lin Xian slashed open with his sword. This sword was like a giant dragon dancing in the air, directly sending the patriarch of the Thunder Dragon clan flying. A sword mark was left on his body. The other people's scalps went numb. He was too strong. Even the patriarch of the remote antiquity family couldn't do anything to him now. Lin Xian stood there with his hands behind his back. He sneered, "And if you provoke me again, I'll destroy your heart and soul." You, the patriarch of the Thunder Dragon clan, was so angry that he vomited blood. You actually have the aura of the Dragon clan. At this moment, the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana stared at Lin Xian again. It's useless to say more. Let's do it. Lin Xian soared into the air, his body releasing an extremely terrifying light. The Rinnegan in his right eye released an even more terrifying light of reincarnation. The world of reincarnation appeared around him. The power made the scalps of the surrounding people tingle. They had all defended their souls. Would Lin Xian be able to win this battle? Heavenly path of reincarnation. In the sky, an eye stood there like the eye of a god looking down on the common people. In that eye, there were countless mysterious runes that quickly intertwined, forming a giant hand of heaven. It descended from the sky and pressed down, grabbing at the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana in an instant. The Thunder Dragon of Nirvana also roared angrily. Light of Nirvana, he shot out a light of Thunder God. The terrifying flames shattered the entire world. It collided with the giant hand of heaven. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. Everyone retreated. In the next moment, the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana had the advantage and launched an attack. Nirvana shattered. The eye of Nirvana opened again. It was as if the world had shattered, and it attacked Lin Xian. The void around Lin Xian instantly shattered. Lin Xian used the reincarnation tunnel. A few earth shields appeared to defend against the attack. He defended his body. Then reincarnation was formed, the Tao of Man. All of the power of reincarnation fused into his body as he unleashed the six-path fist and punched out. A mysterious ancient rune could be seen flickering on his fist. It seemed to be able to shatter the myriad worlds. The battle between the two was extremely terrifying. The surrounding people were shocked. These two eyes were too terrifying. Currently, Lin Xian only has one Rinnegan. If he condenses it again, I'm afraid that Thunder Dragon won't be his opponent at all. The people from the Divine Union were also nervous. Would Brother Xian succeed? Definitely. The Crimson Dragon was excited. He wanted to use the Phantom of the Samsara Sword. He could definitely defeat the Nirvana Thunder Dragon. However, Murong Qingqing shook his head. I don't think Brother Xian will. The Great Earth Tomb is so terrifying that there are many places that require Rinnegan to explore. And with Brother Xian's current strength, once he uses the Samsara Sword Phantom, he wouldn't be able to use his soul for a short period of time. This will be very disadvantageous to our situation. Murong Qingqing's analysis was correct. Lin Xian didn't intend to use the Samsara Sword Phantom in such a place. However, he also launched an extremely powerful attack. It was the fusion of heaven, earth, and man. The entire hall shook violently. A terrifying and ancient aura filled the air. Everyone's eyes widened. What was Lin Wudi using? Was it the Samsara Sword? No, he didn't summon the Samsara Sword. He used another ability. Everyone realized that Lin Xian's strength was extremely terrifying. He seemed to have turned into the king of Samsara. The heaven and the sky and the big hand also fell and merged with Lin Xian's palm. The shield formed by the Samsara tunnel appeared on Lin Xian's left hand. He had fused with the power of reincarnation. Long Mu exclaimed. This was too heaven-defying. The Nirvana Thunder Dragon seemed to feel a sense of danger. He roared furiously. Suddenly, endless lightning appeared between his eyebrows. It quickly spread and formed a space. This was even more terrifying than the lightning region. It was the Thunder Lock. Countless people looked at this scene with their eyes wide open. Their eyes turned red. The Thunder Lock contained the supreme power of the Thunder Tao. It was also the power that they wanted to obtain. Now, the Nirvana Thunder Dragon had finally used it. Take my strongest attack, the Nirvana Sword. The Thunder Lock flew into the Eye of Nirvana. The Eye of Nirvana was beating rapidly. Countless runes gathered on it and then turned into a sword, the Nirvana Sword. The sword slashed out with an aura that could destroy everything. It descended from the sky. At this moment, the void in the hall avoided it. This was the tomb of a great emperor. To be able to create such a scene, it was enough to show how terrifying this sword was. This was the Nirvana Sword. It was really terrifying. They didn't expect that Lin Xian didn't use the Samsara Sword Phantom, but the Nirvana Thunder Dragon used the Nirvana Sword. They didn't know if this sword could kill this kid. The Thunder Dragon Patriarch clenched his fists. Their ancestors' ultimate technique must succeed. The people of the Thousand Dragons Court were also looking forward to it. The people of the Purple Mansion were also very nervous. Kill. After Lin Xian's heaven, earth, and human Tao merged, he also charged forward. In the face of the situation, he used the tunnel shield in his hand to block. At the same time, he used the Heaven Path hand and the Human Tao hand. A hand seemed to have crossed the universe and charged forward. Illusions appeared around both of them. The Nirvana Sword showed a scene of the destruction of the world. The end was coming. On the other hand, Lin Xian's hand was even more terrifying. It had countless ancient scenes. The mysterious hall and the terrifying illusions finally clashed in the air. At this moment, everyone was sent flying. There were thousands of thunderbolts in front of them. Everyone's hearing was sealed. They couldn't hear anything. Their eyes were filled with endless light. At this moment, everyone felt as if they were thrown into the 9 heavens. This feeling is really frightening. After an unknown period of time, they finally saw the scene in front of them and regained their hearing. They all raised their heads and looked forward. What had happened? Was the battle over? The people of the Divine Union were also very nervous. The people of the Thousand Dragons Court also looked carefully. In the next moment, everyone was stunned. There was only one figure left in front of them. It was Lin Xian. The reincarnation force on Lin Xian's body slowly disappeared and entered his eyes again. Lin Xian's face was pale, but the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. The others were puzzled. What was going on? There was only Lin Wudi. Could it be that the Nirvana Thunder Dragon had failed? When they thought of this possibility, they gasped. This was impossible. The Thunder Dragon Patriarch roared, crazily. That was their ancestor. How could he have failed? The Eye of Nirvana and the Nirvana Sword at their strongest were enough to destroy everything. Chapter 54-58. Only Lin Xian was left standing in the sky, his face pale. In front of him, the void was split into 2. The horrifying Luai's Lake was also split into 2 by the sword's slash. The Thunder Dragon's figure had disappeared. Was he killed? Everyone's scalps went numb. The Purple Mansion Master's eyes flashed with purple light. Suddenly, he looked at the darkness in front of him and exclaimed. He went back. He pointed to the front and exclaimed. Everyone looked over as well. In the darkness, there was a blurry figure. Nirvana Thunder Dragon sat back down. It seemed that he had lost the previous battle to Lin Wudi. How could this be? Everyone was deeply shocked. Even Long Mu's brows were tightly knitted together. Just as they were in a daze, Lin Xian waved his hand. He then put away half of the thunder lock. With a wave of his hand, he threw it into the sword world. This scene left everyone dumbfounded. The Emperor race people were also furious. Damn it, how dare you? Keep it? Despicable brat, hand it over. The Thunder Lake of the Thunder Dragon was something they had dreamed of. Now that it had appeared in front of them, how could they not be excited? However, half of it was gone in an instant. Lin Xian merely sneered in response to this threat. His figure flashed, and he instantly walked into the large hall. He said, "There is still half left. You can snatch it or come after me. Choose." As soon as he said this, everyone hesitated. "Let's do it," Qilin shouted, and took the lead to kill the remaining half in the sky. Kun Pengzi also took action. The other elites also took action. The old phoenix also took action. Murong Qingcheng and the rest followed Lin Xian. The battle broke out in an instant. Very few people wanted to attack Lin Wuti. After all, the opponent was too strong. They might as well take the remaining Thunder Lake first. If there was a chance in the future, they would take action. This brat was too cool. The Crimson Dragon and the rest were excited. The people from the Divine Union followed Lin Xian and continued their journey. Lin Xian took out a portion of the Thunder Lake from the Sword World and gave it to these people. "Good stuff. I'll absorb it later. I'll put it away first." Crimson Dragon, they were excited. The eyes of the people from the Divine Union turned red. "Thank you, Boss Lin." This was an extremely precious item. Since Lin Xian was willing to give it to them, how could they not be excited? Lin Xian said, "This is what you deserve." Lin Xian had always been generous to the people of the Divine Union. Furthermore, when they had attacked the Dragon Emperor's tomb and used the ultimate weapon, it had also been these people from the Divine Union who had provided the power. Lin Xian would naturally share a portion of his power with them. Murong Qingcheng said with a smile. He reckoned that those people would be fighting until the sky turned upside down. My master also went to snatch it. Perhaps he could also snatch a portion of it. The old phoenix and the others were powerful, so perhaps they would be able to reap some benefits. As for the others, that was not necessarily the case. As expected, the battle at the rear was extremely intense. The remaining half of the Luai's Lake was also very large. In addition, there were quite a few emperor clans in the surroundings. They were all fighting until their eyes were red. Some of them were even about to use their extreme weapons. In the end, the Luai's Lake was divided among these people. The emperor clans had obtained the most, while the other remote antiquity clans had also obtained a little. However, these people were all injured. Those who were not injured had also consumed a lot of energy. Their faces were cold. Housemaster Z and the others gritted their teeth. This Lin Wuti was really something. They could not let him continue to grow. They had to find a chance to kill him. They gritted their teeth. The old phoenix sneered. He had also snatched some Luai's Lake. Immediately, he led the Phoenix clan and flew forward. They were ready to meet up with Lin Xian. Let's go to the Fire Qilin Cave. The Gu clan and the others also headed over. They had just entered the first hall. They did not know what was waiting for them behind. In front of them, Lin Xian and the others slowed down once again. After all, this was the tomb of the great emperor. They did not dare to be careless. The Crimson Dragon cast a defensive array to protect them. Lin Xian had already started to use the power he had obtained as he walked. Previously, he had obtained a lot of power in the Dragon Emperor's domain. He had also obtained the Imperial Divine Spirit, the Dragon Scale Fruit, and the other spiritual fruits. Now that he had obtained the Luai's Lake, Lin Xian did not consume too much of the Dragon Scale Fruit. He was prepared to place it in the 4 Spirit Valley to continue producing. As for the Dragon Scale Divine Crystal, Lin Xian started to absorb it. He also started to absorb the Luai's Lake. The others did not dare to be careless with such a violent power. They had to find a secret room to absorb it carefully. However, Lin Xian did not need to do so. Firstly, he could provide power to the sword world. The absorption of the sword world did not need to be so troublesome. Moreover, this time, the power he needed was for the divine fire seed. Absorbing the divine fire seed was easier than cultivating in the secret room. Therefore, Lin Xian could absorb it as he walked. The divine fire seed kept spinning and absorbing slowly. A mysterious flame bloomed on it. When Lin Xian saw this, the corners of his mouth curled up. He could feel that the divine fire seed was growing. Coming to the great emperor's tomb was the right choice. He wondered what would happen after he got out. How much could the divine fire seed grow? Brother Xian, the people behind, had arrived. After meeting up with the old phoenix and the others, Morong Qingcheng and the others could feel it. More and more people were arriving from behind. They were the people from before. Lin Xian nodded. Ignore them. They don't dare to make a move on us now. The Crimson Dragon and the Toad looked behind them. Then they laughed because they saw that many of their acquaintances were injured. It was obvious that they were left behind from the previous battle. The two of them mocked at the front, causing the people behind them to be furious. They almost couldn't help but want to make a move. These two guys were too despicable. Damn it, I really want to kill them. A middle-aged man from the Gu family gritted his teeth. However, at this moment, the leading elder Gu Shao said, "Don't do anything. There seems to be another hall in front of us." Sure enough, a huge shadow appeared in front of them. It was as if a ferocious beast was waiting for them. In front of such a hall, they became incomparably small. So majestic. Why do I feel that it is even more terrifying than the first hall from before? I wonder if there are any guardians in this hall? Why don't you think about it? The treasures here might be better than the Thunder Lake in the first hall. Many people were excited. Some people shook their heads and sighed. They had to be alive to take it. The guardians of the first stage were already so powerful. To be honest, if it weren't for Lin Wudi, we wouldn't have had a chance to pass at all. For a moment, some people were ecstatic, some shook their heads, and some were nervous. All kinds of emotions filled the air. Lin Xian and the others also stopped. He temporarily stopped absorbing the divine fire seed. Instead, he looked at the hall in front of him. They felt a silent pressure that instantly pressed down on them. This aura was too terrifying. It seemed to make them submit. Chapter 54-59. Standing outside the majestic hall, Lin Xian and the others looked solemn, other than the terrifying supreme aura that made one feel as if they were facing a great enemy. Lin Xian also noticed something else. He looked at the Crimson Dragon and asked, "How was it? Was it okay?" The Crimson Dragon frowned and looked around. Then he shook his head. It seemed like they had to attack together. They discussed here and didn't go in. The people behind frowned. The Golden Crow race snorted. "Lin Wudi, weren't you always arrogant? Why don't you dare to go in now? If you don't dare to go in, then scram. Don't block our way." The moment he said that, the Destiny Gemini tribe, Lightning Dragon tribe, Dragon Sea tribe, and the others also sneered. Lin Xian turned around and looked at these people. What a bunch of idiots. Your eyes are too trashy. Don't you see the array in front? So if you want to die, just go ahead. Damn it. You dare to mock us? These people were furious. Suddenly, they were stunned. There's an array? What array is it? I don't believe it. A Saint race member from the Golden Crow race snorted and charged forward, pretending to be mysterious. "I want to see if there's an array." Before he finished speaking, he flew out because he was sent flying by the array. Half of his body turned into a bloody mist, and half of his soul was destroyed. As he screamed in terror, the others also gasped in shock. The Dragon Sea race leader, Thunder Dragon race leader, and the others all narrowed their eyes. What a terrifying array. The Crimson Dragon snorted. Stupid. Now you know there's an array? The Golden Crow race was about to vomit blood. This time, they really kicked an iron board. There really was an array, and it was a peerless array. The Kuan Peng race, Fire Chilin race, and the others all walked forward. They looked at it carefully, and then frowned. What a terrifying formation. Lin Wuti, do you have a way? They looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said, "There is a way, but if you want to break the array, you have to listen to me completely." Once those words were spoken, the surrounding imperial clans all started to frown. Listen to the other party. What kind of joke was this? How high and mighty were their emperor clans? Now, they were being ordered around by a youngster. They couldn't swallow this anger. The Fire Chilin sneered. "You want to order us around just like that? What if we don't agree?" Headmaster Z also snorted coldly. "That's right. We'll wait. I don't believe that you won't enter. If you can break the array formation, we'll follow you in." These people all had the same idea. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. "Oh, you want to waste my time? Don't worry, I just got half of the lightning lock, and I don't have time to cultivate. Wait here, I'll cultivate for a while." With that, he walked forward, sat down cross-legged, and began to absorb the lightning. Endless lightning circled around his body, making the people around him almost vomit blood. Damn it, their punches seemed to have hit cotton. The other party wasn't injured, but they were angered to the point of vomiting blood. What to do? If this continued, it would be bad for them. Not only did he get the lightning lock, but he also got the dragon's spiritual tree and the dragon divine crystal. Damn it, so much energy. It's enough for him to absorb for many years. What should we do? Should we continue to waste time with him? The Kuan Peng race shook their heads. Kuan Peng Zi walked out and said, "Lin Gongzi, if you have a way, I'm willing to help you. Lin Gongzi, please help. We're willing to do our best to help." Many clan of the ancients walked over. For example, Shurzu, Golden Rock race, White Crane race, etc. They all bowed respectfully towards Lin Xian. The emperor clan's expressions were ugly, but they could only grit their teeth and say, "Okay, we'll listen to you." Lin Xian glanced at them and said, "It's too late for you to agree now. I gave you a chance before, but it's impossible now." "What did you say?" The Fire Chilin was furious. The Thousand Dragon Empire and Z Mansion clenched their teeth. "Damn kid, don't be too arrogant. We've already agreed to help you. What more do you want?" "What do I want? If you have the ability, then don't beg me. Break the formation yourself. If you can't, you want to enter through me? Simple. Hand over a portion of the resources to us. I won't let you pass for nothing." "Damn. You dare to target us? Do you want to die?" The Fire Chilin and the others hollered. Housemaster Z was also gnashing his teeth. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were even angrier. This was the tomb of their ancestor. "Okay." Lin Xian wasn't moved. "If you want me to break the formation, then each of you have to hand over a portion of the lightning ocean. I think you should have snatched it before. If you didn't, then hand over an equivalent amount of God crystals. I'm not in a rush. I have time to wait for you." After saying this, Lin Xian closed his eyes once more. The people around gritted their teeth. Damn, they didn't agree at all. They waited, but 10 days later, they all collapsed. During these 10 days, the lightning aura around Lin Xian's body became more and more terrifying. They were all about to go crazy from anxiousness. They had no choice but to negotiate and hand over some of their lightning oceans or resources in exchange. Of course, the amount wouldn't be as much as Lin Xian said, but it was enough to show their sincerity. Lin Xian's lips curled up as he looked at the energy that these people handed over. Very good, he took a portion of it directly. Then he gave the remaining portion to the people of the Divine Union. After these people received it, they were all smiles. "Thank you, Boss Lin." Some of the other ancient families were also envious when they saw this. They were even contemplating whether they should join the Divine Union. After all, Lin Xian was very generous to the people around him. Lin Wuyi, this should be enough, right? Mansion Head Z was so angry that his face turned pale. He was also an overlord, but he couldn't do anything in front of Lin Xian. Roussillon, you come, Lin Xian said to the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon walked out and started to investigate the array formation in front of him. The people of the Emperor race were so angry that they almost vomited blood. After all this time, it still wasn't Lin Xian doing it himself. Soon, however, their expressions turned solemn. They could see that although the Crimson Dragon wasn't as strong as Lin Xian, his attainments in array formations were very strong. The other party had set up a few arrays, which made the elders of the Emperor race suck in a breath of cold air. What an exquisite array formation! They saw hope. Great! These people were all excited. If they could enter the second hall, they would definitely take back what they had lost, said an elder of the Z government, while frowning. Don't you think that he's using a kind of strength that only exists in legends? The Purple Mansion had frowned as well, his eyes flickering with a purple glow. This was also a powerful and ancient eye technique. He stared at it for a long time before he said, "That's right. Could it be that you are talking about the legendary Geomaster?" "No way," he exclaimed. Wasn't the earthly scripture already lost? Even they didn't have it. How could he have it? Chapter 5460. The Purple Mansion Master was really shocked. Their Purple Mansion had many ancient lost techniques. However, there were many that they did not have. For example, the Earth Scripture. It was something that they had always wanted but had no clue about. However, they did not expect that. Now, they saw the shadow of the Earth Scripture on the Divine Dragon in front of them. An Earth Master appeared in front of them, making the eyes of the Purple Mansion people fiery red. At the same time, they also knew, with the means of an Earth Master, he should be able to break the array of the main hall. This Lin Wuyi was really terrifying. Not only was he powerful, but the people around him were also extremely extraordinary. A few days later, the Crimson Dragon had already arranged the array. He said, "Stand on different terrains. Next, when I say do it, you will do it according to the order." Although the Emperor clan people were unhappy to be ordered by a divine dragon, they could only do as he said. They could also see that the other party's array skills were very high. It even reached an unfathomable level, making these Emperor clan elders feel like they were celestial beings. They walked to different positions. Next, the Crimson Dragon began to command these people. The array breaking began. Then it slowly opened. Great. It was a success. The surrounding people all laughed. The people of the Divine Union were also excited. Lin Xian also nodded, as expected of Roussillon. He was indeed powerful. There was no need to say anything about his array skills. Go. Everyone couldn't wait to enter. However, after entering, they were all stunned. They felt a pressure that was like an ancient mountain pressing down on them. This pressure made them feel despair. How could it be so powerful? Now, their joy was gone. Originally, they thought that they could break the array and seize the treasures inside. However, now whether they could move or not was another matter. "Elder, why don't we go back?" A few young geniuses were about to cry. Even those people of the older generation had ugly expressions on their faces. "Quickly, look at what is up there." The expert of the Twin of Destiny clan pointed to the top of the main hall, his voice trembling. The others also looked up. In the next moment, their scalps went numb, because above the main hall there was a dragon circling. The dragon head looked down, its merciless gaze enveloping them. The supreme aura was being emitted from the dragon's body. It was too powerful. It was another kind of expert from the dragon race. Clearly, this was the guardian of the second hall. Bai Susu and the others were also surprised. If even the first hall had a lightning dragon of Nirvana, they could not help but wonder which dragon would be in the second hall. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were also shocked. Long Mu's brows were tightly knitted together. This aura made his hair stand on end. He sighed. Although his strength was strong and had surpassed the Saint Plane, it was still not enough. However, his identity was too special. He was also a tomb keeper, so he couldn't do anything here. He could only follow behind. If he made a move, he would be going against the will of the Dragon Emperor. Their bodies and souls would be destroyed, and they would not enter the cycle of reincarnation. Therefore, he gritted his teeth. On one hand, he hoped that he could obtain some treasures, but at the same time, he also hoped that these guardians would be able to capture Lin Xian and the others in one fell swoop. Lord Long Mu, where did this dragon clan come from? Long Wu of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also asked. As the descendants of the Dragon Emperor, they were also incomparably sullen at this moment. They could attack, but there were too many emperor races around them. They had no advantage. There was only one person from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty who could have the advantage here, and that was the Dragon Prince. However, the Dragon Prince had already died. As Long Mu spoke, he sensed a trace of the aura of the heavens. This should be the Azure Dragon. Azure Dragon, Zhan Tian. At this moment, a loud voice rang out. It came from a huge dragon above. When the others heard this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. It was indeed the Azure Dragon. As for the name Zhan Tian, it was like thunder to their ears. These people from the dragon race had all heard of him before. Even the Crimson Dragon exclaimed in surprise. It was actually him. Lin Xian asked, "Who was this person? Was he very powerful?" He had seen the Azure Dragon race before in the second star field. The Azure Dragon race didn't even enter the buried Emperor's star. Lin Xian felt that they shouldn't be the top dragon race. The Crimson Dragon shook his head. It wasn't such a carriage. However, Azure Dragon Zhan Tian was an extremely terrifying existence back then. Do you still remember the Azure Dragon horn? It was created by one of his dragon horns. It could command a group of dragons. During a certain period of time in the dragon race, he was a supreme existence. He was the king of the dragon race. However, he disappeared later on. Only then did the Azure Dragon race gradually decline. In the end, they could only go to other worlds. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard this. The king of the dragon race. This was in an era where the Dragon Emperor didn't appear. One could imagine how terrifying Azure Dragon Zhan Tian was. At the same time, this shocked Lin Xian. The Dragon Emperor was even more terrifying. He even brought such an expert of the Tao of the Dragon to be the Tomb Keeper. Just how terrifying was the real Dragon Monarch? He didn't dare to imagine. The Dragon Sea Lord was also shocked. Azure Dragon, the legendary Azure Dragon, Zhan Tian's Azure Dragon blood, was extremely terrifying. It was an unparalleled treasure. He wondered if this was the treasure of the second hall. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. The eyes of those Emperor race beings shone brightly, worthy of being the tomb of the Dragon Emperor. The first hall was the Thunder Lake of the Annihilation Thunder Dragon. As for the second hall, it contained the dragon blood of Azure Dragon Zhan Tian. The surrounding people were excited. The Thunder Lake possessed the supreme Tao of thunder, bringing with it the power of destruction. As for the blood of the Azure Dragon, it was an unparalleled pressure. For example, right now, these powerful beings were standing here and feeling the pressure of an ancient mountain. It was the blood of the Azure Dragon. If it could be sucked out, they would have the same pressure on their bodies. In fact, they didn't even have to make a move. Just the aura was enough to topple mountains and overturn seas, turning countless people into ashes. After Lin Xian received this news, he narrowed his eyes. The blood of the Azure Dragon was indeed a good thing. At the same time, it was also an unparalleled power. Then, where was the blood of the Azure Dragon? Everyone was puzzled. An elder of the Kuan-Pung race said, "Legend had it that azure dragon Zhan Tian had two dragon horns. They were extremely terrifying. One of them was broken and refined into the horn of the azure dragon. It could command a group of dragons. The other one was still preserved to this day. This was most likely the place where the blood of the azure dragon was." Hearing this, everyone raised their heads. They withstood the immense pressure and looked up. Indeed, there was a single horn on the body of the gigantic dragon above. That horn was extremely ancient. There were mysterious patterns on it, releasing an unparalleled aura. What a strong pressure! It seemed to be the place where the blood of the azure dragon was. By the looks of it, obtaining the horn of the azure dragon would allow one to obtain the blood of the azure dragon. Countless people were excited. Chapter 5461. When they heard about the azure dragon's blood, their eyes lit up. An old man walked out from the purple palace sect's side. The old man held a broken sword in his hand, and his aura was incomparably terrifying. When the surrounding people saw him, they cried out in surprise. It was actually the old sword maestro. Had he also appeared? This was an extremely terrifying old man. He was an extremely powerful sword Tao's sacred ancestor. His appearance shocked countless people. The Purple Palace Sect's foundation was simply too terrifying. They didn't lose out to the Emperor clans at all. Originally, the Purple Palace Sect had lost a shadow cultivator and severely injured a light-shaking realm cultivator. Who would have thought that such an expert in the sword Tao would appear? Was he going to make a move? Countless people stared at the old sword maestro with wide eyes. When Lin Xian saw the other party, his eyes also narrowed. An expert in the sword Tao, that was interesting. He could sense that the other party did indeed have a very powerful sword qi. Could this brat do it? The Crimson Dragon, next to him, asked. He wanted Lin Xian to make a move quickly, so that the good stuff wouldn't be snatched away by others. Lin Xian, however, laughed. There was no rush. Let them make a move first. Let them test the power of this azure battle dragon. Under everyone's gazes, the old sword maestro walked forward. He raised his head to look at the sky, and the circling azure dragon coldly harumphed. The broken sword in his hand slashed out. At this moment, the sky was shattered, and the earth was destroyed. Under this attack, everyone was shocked. Their bodies felt like they were about to be split apart. This old sword maestro was too terrifying. Even Lin Xian's eyes lit up. The other party was indeed very powerful. Morong Qingcheng and the others were also shocked. This sword might be able to split the azure dragon in half. The massive azure dragon circling in the sky was expressionless. He was still standing there, seemingly unmoved. When the attack landed on his body, an earth-shattering sound rang out. The fiery light seemed to turn into thousands of suns, illuminating the world. What happened? Everyone looked carefully, but when they saw the result, they were stunned. It was such a shocking sword strike, but when it landed on the azure dragon's body, the azure dragon was unharmed. How was this possible? Everyone was stunned. The old sword maestro's pupils constricted. Impossible! He was very confident in his swordsmanship. In his opinion, there were not many people who could compete with him in swordsmanship. Even the powerful saint race couldn't withstand a single strike from him. Therefore, he was extremely confident in this attack. However, let alone splitting the other party apart, it didn't even cause any injuries. It was really too inconceivable. Roar! The azure dragon in the sky suddenly let out a low roar. Then he swung his tail over, and wherever it passed by, it seemed to have turned into a peerless divine sword. With a slash of the sword, the river of stars shattered, and heaven and earth lost all light. This attack was aimed at the old sword maestro. The old sword maestro's eyes narrowed. He didn't dare to be careless at all. With a roar of rage, The laws around him began to swirl, and his Taoist robes fluttered. The broken sword in his hand slashed out like a shooting star. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. Everyone was shaken to the point that their chi and blood were roiling. If this wasn't the Dragon Emperor's tomb, the entire world would have been split apart by this attack. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, the old sword maestro continuously retreated. His arm was cracked, his broken sword was swaying, and there was even saint blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth. He was injured. When the people from the Purple Mansion saw this scene, they exclaimed, "Not good." They were all worried for the old sword maestro. Those from the other monarch race also had ugly expressions. They knew the strength of the old sword maestro. Even he was defeated. In the sky, the azure dragon retracted his tail and didn't attack again. This made everyone heave a sigh of relief. However, their brows were tightly knitted. Although their lives weren't in danger, their eyes were filled with despair. Who could fight against such an azure dragon? It was too strong. The people from the Kuan-Pung race shook their heads and sighed. It was impossible to obtain the azure dragon's blood. Damn it, were they going to return empty-handed? The people from the Gu family also gritted their teeth. This time, they had spent a lot of effort to come here. In order to break the array, they had paid a price. They had originally thought that entering the second palace would allow them to return everything they had lost. But now, it seemed that everything was impossible. How could they be willing to accept this? If one couldn't do it, what about the others? The Fire Qilin stood out. He was also unwilling. He gritted his teeth and said, "Everyone, let's work together." All right, that was the only way. The Purple Mansion's mansion lord also walked out. Next, the Kuan-Pung race, Gu Jia, the Golden Crow race, and the others all joined forces. They sent out 10 experts. These 10 top-notch experts included a sword expert like the old sword maestro, as well as the Fire Qilin and the Kuan-Pung Zi. It could be said that the lineup was incomparably terrifying. Kill. With a roar, they rushed into the 9 heavens. All kinds of powerful supreme divine abilities. Battle sword slashing the world. Qilin arm. The roar of the Kuan-Pung queen. The fury of yin and yang. All kinds of ultimate skills exploded in an instant. The surrounding people were also shocked. Who could fight against such power? The azure dragon also moved. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. This time, it wasn't just the azure dragon's tail. The azure dragon's claws, eyes, and body all attacked. Every strike was imbued with unparalleled power that tore everything apart. He collided with the 10 top-notch experts. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Even the void of the main hall cracked. A terrifying power swept in all directions. The 10 top-notch experts were all forced back and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. It was too strong. It was so strong that everyone felt despair. How could it be like this? The Kuan-Pung Zi was shocked. The Fire Qilin also had a sinister expression. The old sword maestro and the others also shook their heads and sighed. Was there no hope? Some people looked towards the 1,000 Dragon Court. After all, there was an expert like Longmu here. However, the old sword maestro snorted coldly. It was useless. Don't look at him. He was the tomb keeper. He couldn't make a move. Otherwise, his soul would be destroyed. Humph! Longmu snorted coldly. The others felt despair. Elder Gu Shao of the Gu family also had a cold expression. Since they couldn't join forces, they would use their final trump card. As he spoke, he took out the void mirror. A powerful extreme force swept in all directions. The others were also shocked. The other Emperor race members also took out extreme weapons. That's right, they still had extreme weapons, although they didn't have much power to support extreme weapons. For the sake of the Azure Dragon's blood, they decided to make a move. That was great. Those from the Emperor race clenched their fists. Once an extreme weapon was taken out, No matter how strong the dragon race was, they couldn't resist it. This azure dragon was also no match for it. The faces of those from the divine union also changed. He said, Lin Xian, this is not good. We have to make a move too. Lin Xian nodded. He didn't expect these people from the Emperor race to be so impatient. They had used their Emperor race weapons so quickly. At the same time, this also showed how terrifying the azure dragon above was. It had already caused these Emperor race members to feel despair. He took a deep breath and prepared to use the power of the ancient desolate tower. However, at this moment, the situation changed. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.